breathe in thrice first. I chant Om thrice. सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं कर्वावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शांति शांति शांति। Rub my palms onto my eyes. Okay. Good afternoon, everybody. So let's start with a quick round of introduction. I have given my introduction already to some of you or most of you in the beginning or as an introduction of this session probably a week ago. So what we could start is in no particular order. If we can introduce ourselves on putting our video camera on, it will be of great help. So in no particular order. Okay, there's always the starting trouble, so I will call out the names. If your video camera is working, great. It will be good for everybody to see their classmates. And if it is not working, still okay. You could go ahead and speak about yourself, introduce yourself. So let me start with Avijit. You want to go first?
Yeah, sure, sir. Not sure whether my camera is working or not. Am I visible?
Yeah, you are.
Okay. Hi, guys. Hi, sir. Afternoon, or to all. So currently, I have been working with Amazon Seller Services. It has been a 3 years journey with them for now, and I have been engaged with operations management over here. Uh, Prior to this, I was engaged with an organization named ITC, which is FMCG conglomerate in the market, in the Indian market. I was helping the process excellence team over there to delve out projects. My total experience stands close to 8 years now, and yeah, it ranges from process excellence to operations management and project management.
So something about your personal life?
Not too much. Yeah, being a Bengali, I really love football apart from work. So yeah, as soon as I'll get over this class, I'll probably log on to my Hotstar streamings for football. And I love to play the guitar at times. That's purely out of leisure, nothing serious.
Great. Great to know your hobbies and great to know your interest in football. So whom do you bet your money on? Which team?
Uh, so you know, it's Chelsea. It's Chelsea all the way.
Okay. I
18 years
usually
of a relationship.
okay. I like football myself because I used to play football in my college days, but ever since then I haven't played football much. However, I put on some jerseys sometimes these days and I join the gang of my kid who play football on the street. But I think that's one of the best times I have in my daily routine sometimes. Yeah. Thank you, Abhijit. Thank you so much for choosing to do your sessions and course with us. Appreciate much your time, your business, and we hope to meet your expectations. We'll work our best towards in that direction. Thanks very
Yeah.
much. Yeah.
Thank you.
So let's go next. Haragopal.
Yeah. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you, Sreedher. Okay. Um, this is Haragopal from Hyderabad. I'm basically from the textile and apparel industry. I've been around for about 23 years since I completed my master's in financial management from the prestigious Satyasai University. I've been fortunate to be there. For the past 17 years, I've been heading various verticals, starting from fabric to garments. And now here I am to know something new, uh, thanks to Sreedher. I'm married with wife and two kids, and younger ones, basically. One is 6 years old, one is 8 years. Yeah, that is it for the moment. My favorite sport, of course, is cricket. I've been a cricketer myself. I've played the zonal zones, I think, for 5 years in Andhra Pradesh.
Great. So do you still play cricket sometimes, or how's it?
At times, at times.
Maybe the team is now restricted to you and your kids,
At
perhaps.
moment, yes. You're seeing it uh, with the company player team. If you
Oh yeah,
know.
I've seen once. So what do you tell your kids? You're a bowler, batsman, or an all-rounder?
No, at the moment they think that I don't know anything.
Okay, great to keep it a secret with your kids always. Thank you
Yeah.
so much for being here. Appreciate your time and business, and look forward to partnering you in your objectives you want to meet with this journey. Look forward.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Yeah.
Thanks very much. So let's go to now Siddhant or Bijay Ketan.
Yeah, sorry for the confusion. Hello everyone. So this is Bijay. So I don't want to log out from my son's account because I don't know if he remembers his password or not. So because of his, so that is the reason I chose to kept his name only in this training. So okay, so I'm a finance professional with 17 years of experience, and right now I am based out in Delhi and working for a company called WNS Global Services, and I'm managing a North America client for FNA domain only. And prior to this, I was with Ericsson and then EXL. So those are the experience I have. So the complete experience that I have is basically in Six Sigma, a little bit I have done in my previous organizations, and purely it is finance and accounting. And I'm married. I have one son and staying in Delhi. And thank you, Sreedher, for giving me this opportunity. So I know Sreedher from my childhood because we did our schooling together, and we know each other, we understand each other, and it is really nice to see you, Sreedher, in this position right now. Thank you so
My
much
pleasure.
for being there.
Thank you so much. I have to thank you for being here, in fact, and making it possible to join the course. And I look forward to partnering you in your journey and hope be able to meet your expectations. That's a promise. Look forward. Thanks very much.
Yeah, thank you.
Bye. Um, Now let's go to Umesh.
Hello, Sreedhar sir. This is Umesh here.
Hi, Umesh.
Yeah, good afternoon, everyone. And it's exciting journey to start with, and in fact, a good opportunity looking at others like profile the industry they come from. I think probably the best platform. I work for IT company from last 10 years and never got to work with, in fact, no other industries. I think this is the platform. I think I can learn few things from the other industries too. And this is Umesh here working for Trans Global. It's an IT services company. Prior to this, I was working with IBM, Accenture, and also worked for a company, startup company for procurement intelligence. And from last 1 year, I've been part of the quality assurance team in Trans Global and managing the risk operations for the uh, project management as a part of the project management. And hope to learn more and like heard Six Sigma is the one which gives us platform to grow in our career, as well as it gives an opportunity to make some sorry, that's my son. Okay. made some noise here. Yeah. And thank you so much, Sridhar sir. It's a great opportunity to be with you, learn Six Sigma from you.
Thank you very much and welcome aboard and look forward to partnering you in your journey and look forward to keeping up the promise of delivering what you came here for. Thanks very much, Umesh.
Yeah, thanks, sir. Thanks so much.
And we have now Padmavati.
Hello, Sreedher sir, and hello everyone. Very good afternoon. And myself, Padmavati. I'm working currently with HSBC from past 3 years, and prior to that, I was working for JP Morgan. And it's very exciting to know different people from different I know industries. Even I don't have any friends or colleagues who is into apparels or textile industry or finance industry. I'm into banking system. So I'm very excited to know about this, learn this Six Sigma. And thank you very much, sir, for letting me know about this course and making everyone so interested. And yeah, looking forward to it.
Thank
Thank
you so
you.
much, Padma, and then welcome aboard. I look forward for an exciting journey ahead with you all. And as much as you think I'm here to coach all of you, I must say I also learn an equal amount or even more than what I probably give with all of you. So to me, learning has been a two-way affair in all my sessions so far. So all that I think I have today is because of people like you in my life. Thank you very much. And just don't bother about if anybody's coming there behind you or there's a noise. It's absolutely okay because we are all human beings. And I have a very informal setup, so this timing is fine, but this is your family's day. I appreciate that and respect that. So therefore, they're not invading your privacy. You are invading their privacy by working on the weekend. I thank your family a ton for that, for allowing you to attend this session. I cannot ask for more. So that way, I'm very informal guy on these days. You have to be at peace, be relaxed, chill, and that's the only way you can learn the most. If you're stressed, you cannot learn. So therefore, don't worry about anything. Just relax, sit back, and learn. That's all I can say.
Okay, so sorry to interrupt, and sorry I missed to say one more thing. I'm married,
Okay.
and one more thing I missed to say is the way you start the class with the chanting, the procedure is really quite positive. It creates a positive vibes in everyone. Thanks for that as well.
Well, it is my pleasure. It is, I would say, just God's grace that I have been given this opportunity to participate in this kind of a session. To me, learning has been sacred. It will continue to be sacred. So to me, learning and development is like doing a penance, nothing less than that. So therefore, this is a space where we seek from the supreme force to bestow upon us uh, the power of knowledge. So to me, this is a place to do prayers to begin with. Thank you. So we have then with us Dinesh, if you could. You're on mute, Dinesh. Right.
Hi, everybody, once again.
Yeah.
Uh, I work for Bacardi India. I have around 29 years of experience. Out of that, 18 years is in Bacardi. And I worked in other FFCG companies like PepsiCo and Procter and Gamble. So I'm into quality assurance and quality control. So gaining knowledge on Six Sigma will definitely add value to my profession. So I'm very much keen on learning all the new techniques and all. You
Great.
I'm married. I have two sons. They are in the final year. Younger one is in final year. Elder one is just joined the job in IT industry. I'm based out of Chennai.
Great, sir. Welcome aboard and look
Yeah.
forward to an exciting journey ahead with you. And I think this is the
Okay.
time when all your children, all the people here, their children will have something to say to say to their dad, saying that you must do your homework on time.
Yes.
And you should
Right.
attend the classes as far as
Mm.
possible and not miss. So sometimes I say, okay, you be, I mean, on the lighter side, I say, okay, I will this time give your report cards to your children. They have to sign it for you and then give it to you.
Yeah, this is a reverse case.
So when I said that, some people in the session said, seriously, no, 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 don't do that. So I was like, no, I'm just on the fun side. But I said, all end of the day, I think what I personally believe is all of us are um, children in one sense. I mean, what happens is as we grow in our years, we somehow forget that kid that we used to be in our childhood days. That
Yes.
the level of curiosity that used to be there in terms of exploring things, knowing things, and we were so non-judgmental, we were so unconditional. I mean, all that is something that we have missed significantly. Probably as we grow older, I somehow feel that it is great to go back to the past and become a kid again and become that explorative, that curious of knowing few things, asking questions, and so on and so forth. So I see, for example, um, uh, I have a son who's sixth grader. Now I don't restrict him and stop him from asking any questions. So that is something that I do not want to stop him doing. Uh, because I think only when there's a question can there be an answer. So therefore, I think it's good to go back to school, and I will give you some homework, some assignments, etc. So it will be more or less like feeling of a school, like your children have been attending the sessions these days on the Microsoft Teams from their school. So even my son actually does that thanks to COVID. So all the sessions are taking place in Microsoft Teams. So technology has done wonders. Thanks to technology again. Thank you so much, sir, and welcome aboard. Look forward for an exciting journey ahead.
Yeah. Thank you.
Then we have um, Anand. Who else do we have here? Rajiv.
So, we don't have Rajiv here yet, sir.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there are few people here whose names appear in the guest. So they have not joined it, if I'm right, correct?
Right,
Rajiv.
right. I tried contact them. I'm not able to reach them, but
It's
everybody else.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Rajiv, Rishikesh,
Um,
yeah,
Kiran.
Kiran. Yeah, okay. So fair. Uh, Nonetheless, let us get started with this. Now, thank you so much for wonderful round of introduction. And as you can see, we have a very diverse group here. So some of you are from e-commerce, one of you is from apparels, manufacturing, banking, finance, and more, and breweries and more. So this means that the topic that we're going to discuss, the subject we're going to discuss is independent of the domain. This you have to bear in the mind. This subject, Lean Six Sigma Black Belt training certification, is independent of the domain, and this works independent of the domain. So that to me is a starting point. And uh, you don't have to be a domain expert to make this philosophy work. That is the beauty of this philosophy. So therefore, um, that would be my starting note to all of you, that you have to cease thinking that you are from a particular domain, and you have to start thinking that you are about to learn a subject which will help you, which will make you deliver results across the domains. And that is what it has done to me. I'm not talking this out of the books. I'm talking about this from my own personal experience. So this continues to be as exciting as it used to be when I started myself on this path. So look forward for an exciting journey ahead. Um, and let me start. Is there any instruction you want to give, Anand, on sharing your screen as to where to go to see the material in Microsoft Teams so that everybody is familiar and they can download the files, the templates, etc. We will upload on Microsoft Teams because what I have suggested to Anand is let everything be here in the group and let people be able to download here and let us all chat in this space in this platform. So that will save a ton of emails going back and forth between all of us. And as it is, you're having heap of emails to deal with in your day-to-day work. I don't want to add more to it. So Anand, do you want to explain something on the screen to show people where the content is?
Sure, sir. I'll share my screen so that they all can figure out where to access the materials.
Yes, please.
Give me 1 second. So, hi everyone. So once you join the team channel, you will be able to view this view. We can see the team name on this side, and you can see the team channel here. And this on top are the tabs in which we can use to access a lot of materials. So if you go to files, you can see I have created 3 folders. So the course materials after each session will be available here inside this subfolder. And then once you go to the files again, you can see the brochure here, and each session recording will be uploaded in this folder. So a few of the recordings will be available only for a week, that is till the next session. So make sure you do follow up and catch up on the next previous session before the upcoming sessions. And number 3, we can also add a lot of other tabs here. For example, there'll be an option, there's a quiz which you all will be provided with, and you can access it on this final tab. So this is a basic layout. I will also be sending a document containing the SOP on how to go about using the Microsoft Teams app. And we're basically using Microsoft Teams as a learning management system, LMS, and that is where we'll be conducting all our future sessions. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Anand. Anybody has any questions on accessing the materials? Let us know, please, now. Not only that, I am assuming that all of you are able to access the PDF copy of the material for section 1, which we are about to embark on. Is everybody accessible to that material?
Sreedher, I'm sorry. Looks like I'm on not on the same page. Hara here.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't see the screen shared by Anand. Unless and it looks like I'm on a completely different platform.
Oh,
Sure.
All right, Mr. Hara. So I had shared with you an email
Okay.
2 days ago.
Right.
And in that you can see it's from Microsoft Teams, and it would have said I have added you to a new Microsoft Teams team. So if you could open that mail, it should take you to the channel which I just showed you. So could you let me know if that works?
Yeah, that's the one which you shared on Feb 12.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On 11th also, I think 11th or 12th. Yeah. So do you see something is Anand added you to a new team?
I am not seeing anything like that. No, it's only the meeting link. I didn't see this mail.
Have you received any mail from me before, like I think on 11th Feb?
So,
Anand,
Anand, I guess you will receive a mail which says that you have been added as a guest to Skill in Microsoft
Correct.
Teams. You should search through that.
Anand, I am also not able to access that screen, what you showed. Despite I
Alright.
opened the 2 mails which you sent it, like participants link for the course and as well as invitation. Both I clicked. I didn't get that particular screen.
Okay, you didn't get the ones for the Microsoft Teams as well, is it?
Yeah.
All right, so let me just check into that. I'll provide a document with you guys by the end of the day as well, in which I'll be detailing how to exactly access the channels and the files. Let me just look into that. Give me 2 minutes. Sir, I think you carry on. I will update you on this.
Sure. So what we can do is Anand will now work it out while the session is in progress, and maybe in couple minutes he will. Anand, so if you are able to give them the access, I mean, if they're able to access and download the material, good. If not, then probably what you can do is email the PDF copy to the email ID so that they can have the copy with them.
Right, sir. I can also provide the copy in the chat as well, if that would
Yeah,
be
right,
easier.
right. Yes, yes, you can provide the copy in the chat here, and you can download the PDF copy of the material on the chat. Yes, that's a good idea. Anybody else here is not able to access the channel and the Microsoft Teams group that Anand has formed, apart from the two here? Okay, good, no worries. So what I request you to do, Anand, is if you can put it in the chat so that people can download this PDF copy. In the meantime, you could look into what's causing a hindrance, okay, and provide some inputs.
Right. So the material is available on the chat. I think it should be available as a PDF file.
Yeah.
I hope everybody can see that.
Yeah, I can see. So other people who are not able to access the material can download this PDF copy from the chat. Okay.
All right. Okay.
Right. So let me start the session. I'm sorry. I need to take some things off. Okay. Here. Right. I'm sorry again. This is a version control issue. Let's make it better. Okay. Thank you. Okay. Before the session, a few things you have to ensure to ensure it is successful and effective session. Check your speakers, check your Wi-Fi connections, ensure they are in good working condition. Check your audio video connection. Sometimes it will be good to come on the video so that we can see you, we can interact with you. Check your power cables, power backup, because if the connection goes off, power goes off. We are keeping a backup here. We are recording the session, nevertheless, but then nothing like attending it live on the go. Okay. In case you don't have the power backup, you can switch to your smartphone sometimes. So if you have the Teams app on your smartphone, you can put your earplugs on and you can watch, hear, and contribute using your mobile itself. That is before the session. During the session, ensure your mobile is switched off. Let me start with mine. Reason we say is it'll be great if you can give 100% during the session, undistracted in an undistracted way, because it's not a classroom. If it is classroom, it works differently. It's a web-based session, so you have to concentrate and focus on what you see on the screen. So you take your eyes off for some time. You might probably lose some of the information which might have been shared. Never mind. In case you have to do so because you are working from home and there's a COVID emergency everywhere, there is issues everywhere, no problems. You can just come back after. If you have to go back, if you have to go somewhere, you can come back. And in case it was not a long duration and you're not able to follow after you come back, you can let me know on a message. Based on the situation and context, I will see if I can repeat myself all over again. Okay, so be punctual, be on time. So it's fine. Sometimes we are delayed, we are late. Even I am late sometimes. 5 minutes, 10 minutes. I usually wait for 10 minutes till people to join and we start off. Okay. Mute your microphone when you're not talking and raise your hand. There's a hand raise symbol in Microsoft Teams that you can use to raise your hand. So I sometimes go back and forth from this view to some other view, and I will see if there are questions with the raised hands. I will address them when I see those questions. You can pop your questions also as you understand and learn along the way on a chat box so that everybody can see the question. I can respond to your questions in chat box also. Okay. Ask the instructor. Don't assume understanding. Do not worry about the questions you ask. So every question is a good question according to me. So don't worry about what kind of question you're asking. Many of us do that. So I'm giving you full liberty and flexibility to make it your session and not mine. Okay. So uh, if the question is relevant and specific to the subject, I will respond. If the question is specific to one's own work area or needs a little bit more deep dive to your own work area, in the interest of time, I may not take it here, but I will address your question offsite over the phone or have a separate call with you on that. Okay. After the session, it's very, very important that you revise the portions. It's very important that you revise the portions. So it's a request that after you do this a weeks, the portions that we covered during this session, before we start the next session, it is a great idea to go back and do some revision before we come back again to the next session. This is the way it has worked with me. I used to forget this subject as soon as I left the room teaching someone. So it might happen to all of us. Statistics, business statistics, data science, concepts, tools, techniques, methodologies, strategies are not remembered for long unless you apply them and make it work in your own work area. But the problem you will have is you may not be able to apply all that you learn. So we will figure how to apply what you learn as we go in your own respective work areas. But the only best way, the next best way is to keep in touch with the subject, doing some revisions during the gap that you have between two successive sessions. Okay. Relate the learning to your own work area and key performance indicator. This question many people ask me, where do we apply? What do we learn? So my response is apply them to your own key performance indicators, your key result areas that you are entitled for in your company if you're working as a full-time person in a company. In case you're not working as a full-time person in a company, you're a consultant or you are somebody who's an entrepreneur, then look into applying it in the areas that you think is most suitable. Okay. Strive to apply the concepts learned to your own work area. Note down the questions. Best way is the moment question comes, you can park them in the chat box, and I will respond to them as soon as I go there to see if there are any questions. Okay. Execute the work assignments that is given by the instructors in between the sessions without fail. These work assignments are intended to help you gain a comprehensive understanding of the syllabus and the portions alike. Okay. Any questions on this so far? And here's my SOP. I count backwards 5 to 1, and if I get no questions, I move on. Okay. If you have any questions, you can put them across during this countdown of 5 to 1. Okay. So I start with this session. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I move on. Introduction to the program. What is Lean Six Sigma? Many people have asked me, and my explanation of what is Lean Six Sigma has varied from describing the topic through the day. I have done 1-day overview programs on Lean Six Sigma, 1 hour, couple days, sometimes 5 days. Somebody has just sufficient time in the elevator to say, can you tell me what Lean Six Sigma is? Just a few words. This is what I tell them, is what I put here. Lean Six Sigma means speed and accuracy, precision at the same time. So can we deliver results in the fastest possible way is lean, and can we be accurate? Can we be hitting the bull's eye every time we deliver the product or the service to someone? Can we be hitting bull's eye every time is accuracy and precision. So can we be fast, accurate, and precise at the same time? The answer is yes. And we will learn what is this answer all about. Yes. Throughout the session. That is the journey we are going to embark on. Why become a Lean Six Sigma black belt? This is a model which is actually popular as Kano model. I'll cover the Kano model later. But it's important for us to understand if you're working professionals in the companies to perceive the world of performance in this way. If you see here in this chart, we have got presence of a characteristic that you are appraised on annually, your promotions are based on, your progress is based on, being absent to completely being fulfilled. Okay, on the x-axis, there's a presence of a characteristic. On the y-axis, let us say there is a dissatisfaction to delight. So the y-axis is someone's dissatisfaction to delight. Who's that someone? That someone could be your immediate boss, that someone could be your functional head OD, that someone could be your business unit head, that someone could be your organizational heads, the CXO category people. Okay, so what delights them and what dissatisfies them? What dissatisfied the stakeholders who are hiring you for the value you bring on table. So if you look at it this way, there are three charts, there are three graphs that you see here. When we strive to meet the key performance indicators, KPIs means key performance indicators. We strive to meet the key performance indicators against which we are appraised on an annual basis. If we somehow meet the KPIs and manage to survive in this fiercely competitive corporate world, it does not delight the stakeholders. The stakeholders of the company who have invested in the company, their time, their money, they would expect that you should be able to meet your key performance indicators. And that's your basic expectation. So by not meeting them, if they're absent, if you're not able to meet your own key performance indicators, which you are accountable for, which you're responsible for, it causes dissatisfaction. Therefore, you see this graph is turning downwards here if you don't meet it, if they're absent. But on the contrary, when you completely fulfill them, you're meeting your key performance indicator 100%, it does not result in delight either. It's a basic requirement of a working professional to meet the described and agreed upon key performance indicators. Okay. However, on those key performance indicator, if you consistently meet them without fail, without seasons, without reason, then you do actually stand little apart from others. In other words, you become competitive in your own work area because consistency is a measure of success. So when people look at you, no matter it's a hot day, it's a rainy day, it's a winter season, summer season, spike season, high volume season, low volume season, but you consistently meet your key performance indicator, if that is observed by the stakeholders in the company, then actually you're making a statement. So it satisfies for sure. Now what delights the stakeholders, the investors in the company, and what actually catapults you on your chosen career path in the direction of progress is when you exceed your key performance indicators and achieve breakthroughs in the key result areas that you are nominated for. You save the company dollar value and you delight the customers you're dealing with. So when these things happen, then you start becoming more visible in terms of your ability to perform and deliver results. Okay, that's a delighter, exceeding your key performance indicators. By just meeting the key performance indicators, you are meeting the basic need of hiring. By exceeding them, by achieving breakthrough improvements, you are actually delighting somebody who's going to appraise you on an year-on-year basis. Okay. Having said that, a lot of people um, consider by meeting the key performance indicator that will probably turn the heads. Unfortunately, it does not, because gone were the days when it used to be so. Today, there's so much competition. There's so much competition around that for one single position, there are too many contenders. And people in their 40s, people in their 50s are competing with people who are in their early 20s or mid 20s. So there's a fierce competition, and age is no bar. Location is no bar, because the world is going technologically advanced in terms of anybody can work from anywhere in the world for any company in the world. So therefore, I must admire your initiative to learn the Lean Six Sigma Black Belt and use this approach to deliver great results in this company where you work today or elsewhere. So this is a concept which I constantly talk about to various people, where I do some teaching also. Um, I teach sparingly in Christ University sometimes, and I teach in IIM, Indian Institute of Management, to the final year students. And this is my message to everybody. So I tell people two things. I tell the working professional, make performance your best friend in the corporate world. Okay, make performance your best friend in the corporate world. And I tell the companies, make profit your best friend in the corporate world, because by making profits and growing your top line is the only way the company can grow and scale. And only when the working professionals in the company marry performance will the company grow to the level that it deserves, it truly deserves. Here is a typical roadmap for growing up the ladder in the corporate world or in the professional world. So I've started the roadmap with becoming a certified black belt, and maybe to some of your surprise, I've kept it at the bottom of the ladder. So by becoming certified black belt and working as a certified black belt for 2 years is the beginning of the journey. Let alone this session, this course. This course is just drawing, just cutting a ticket to board the train. Okay, so these sessions will be expanded through 4 to 5 months. Yeah, 4 to 5 months in terms of time on the weekends. So you are expected to become a good Lean Six Sigma knowledgeable professional by becoming certified. You should be able to lead um, simple improvements, if not complex ones, but successfully, and as far as possible strive for many of them. And you are successful as a change manager, and the scope of change could be limited to your own work area, which does not matter. Even if you're able to manage, even if you are able to influence change in your own team, it could be 2-member team, 1-member team, or any number of member team, you are cut out for a leader. Okay, so influencing change is one of the most desired, I do not want to call it a skill, rather I would say attribute of somebody who's a budding leader in the company or elsewhere. Okay, so certified black belt for 5 years, becomes a Lean Six Sigma expert, change agent, leads breakthrough improvement projects on a full-time basis. So the journey which you're embarking on today probably might, I'm being honest here, might end with the course itself, or might go 2 years down the lane, might even go 5 years down the lane. So the course in itself does not do anything for you. What you do with the course is what matters. So I urge you to not think small with this course, think big with this course. Think about turning the tides around in your company wherever you work. Think about how can you transform yourself first with this course, and therefore how you can use your own transformational journey to help others transform in their chosen paths. So that's the aspiration I aspire that you have and you carry with yourselves. And once you certify as a black belt for 5 years, work for 5 years, toil, struggle, fail, 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 try, fail, try 10 different things, fail in 10 different things. It is awesome. Fail fast, try fast, try new things like there is no tomorrow. Every failure will tell you the last time you tried to make it work, it did not work, which means you know there's one way in which it doesn't work. So how many ways in which it doesn't work? That is the knowledge you have to gain alongside one way in which it works. Remember that, bear that in your mind. So embrace failures equally lovingly as you would embrace success. As you get excited about your successes, give the same credit to your failures. Do not shrink, do not shy away from failures, and acknowledge failures as much as you acknowledge successes. Okay, so the journey to become a certified master black belt, probably you may have to spend 3 more years getting there. When you want to strive to become a master black belt, then you have to become domain independent. Now this is a difficult ask, an easy say and a difficult ask, because if you have been working in one particular domain for good years, that always works in the back of your mind in a counterproductive way, making you think, can you make things work in other places? See, this question I face even today. When I go to the companies, they ask me, have you worked in pharma before? I would say no. Now there is a assumption, there's a belief that if I haven't worked in pharma, then how am I to help anybody out there perform better? Well, I cannot convincingly answer that question across the table. All I say is, I have something that is independent of the domain, which I believe will help you in more than one ways. And then I say, look, all these 22 industry segments that I have worked with, I was a first timer to these segments. But then these segments have produced results, not with my engagement. They have produced results with engaging with Lean Six Sigma kind of concepts. I was only facilitator. So I tell the companies I go, I am not from your domain. You are. I am not the subject matter expert. You are. I only bring with me a knowledge which is universal, and I have been working in this knowledge, using this knowledge hands-on for years, and it has not failed me so far. So I'm here because it has not failed me so far. Okay, so at a master black belt level, you are aiming at going at the top of the ladder in your own company, or at a master black belt level, probably you are aiming at becoming a consultant or somebody who can help organizations transform. In all, it probably might take 10 years as a journey to become somebody here at the top of the ladder, a director, CXO, vice president, president, business head, whatsoever. Okay, a visionary, a change leader, a leadership mentor. So it's going to be a journey of 10 years. I would say if you want to reach there from the day you pick up this subject and want to make it work. I'm not saying this is the only thing that will take you on the top. It's a foray of things. It's a combination of many things, many factors that come together that will take you to the top of the ladder. But this is in general what I have seen working. Any questions on this? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Why do this course? Couple of reasons I could put together. This course will help you get on the A team. In companies, there are A teams. This course will help you get on them. This course will help you exceed expectations on the key result areas and the KPIs that you are accountable and responsible for. Using this course, you will also learn the big picture. It's not, well, it is fascinating for me to realize that the day when I got into this subject, I was curious. I was excited. I was looking forward to learn new things. It is fascinating fact for me that even after 16 years stint in this subject, I still feel as fresh as I used to on day one. So therefore, I believe this is an ocean. You can take a glass of water, bucket of water, pond full of water, but then this ocean never drains itself. It always keeps producing something that you will need every day with changing times. So to me, it is time tested. I don't think time will have an impact on this topic and this subject anymore. Then you prepare for the next level. You want to grow in your career paths. It's important that you prepare for the next level. A lot of people I ask this question as to where do you want? I'm sure this question would have been asked to you by many other people whom you have met while attending the interviews. Where do you want to see yourself 10 years from now, 5 years from now, 15 years from now, 20 years from now, etc. Most of us have an answer to that question in some way or the other. While we see that we want to grow and become someone dash after 5 years, after 10 years, that someone might be, for somebody, I want to become a business head. I want to become a regional head, country head, or CXO. There's no right and wrong choices over there. It's personal, and everything is fine. I mean, the fill in the blank is the blank to be filled is yours. You fill in the blank, period. There's no questions, no debates, no discussions. What we probably fail to see is we want to get there and become this by that point in time. But what we fail to see more often than not is to get there and become that. How do we need to upgrade our knowledge, our skills, our abilities, etc. to become that in that point in time? That part goes missing significantly. Even if some people have an answer for that question, that at best reduces to having some courses done, some certifications done, and so on and so forth. But I fail to appreciate much. Will only certificates and courses take you there as far as enhancing your skills and capabilities? No, you need something else. What is that something else you need? You need to complement the courses, the certifications, the knowledge that you plan to acquire with a working experience of having applied them, of having succeeded with them, of having failed with them, because that will validate your understanding of the subject with time. So therefore, preparing for the next level is just not about doing the course or certification. Preparing for the next level is applying what you learn on day-to-day basis, ceaselessly, like there is no tomorrow. I like the statement of Swami Vivekananda, who says, if there is no here, there is no hereafter. What a statement. If there's no here, there is no hereafter. My personal experience has been one big single reason that denies us progress that we truly deserve is procrastination. procrastination. So avoid, minimize procrastination of applying what you learn. Apply what you learn like there is no tomorrow. Okay. In case you don't have an opportunity to apply what you learn, go seek out, get something for yourself somewhere, in some place, in some companies that is known to you personally on the weekends. But try your best not to give up and apply what you learn in whatsoever way, small, medium, big, but you need to. That will help you prepare for the next level. Build relationships with people who lead key initiatives. Okay. You don't get onboarded into a team because you're a good guy. You're a good human being. Being a good human being is appreciable. No two ways about it. But we're talking about a business enterprise here. To get into an A team, people have to see that you are worthy of getting into an A team. Your worthiness is not demonstrated by your certifications, your courses you do. Your worthiness is demonstrated by the centuries you've hit. It's like the cricket world out there. So no amount of politics, no amount of bureaucracy, no amount of media will stop someone being on board as a team if the person just hit a century in his first match. Okay, so there will always be the politics in the world. There will always be bureaucracy in the world. There will always be people who want to pull you down, pull your leg, criticize you, and do all that it takes to probably hamper you from thinking ahead, surging ahead, moving ahead. The world is an imperfect place. You have to become your own best friend in every regard. And the only thing you have to bear in the mind and keep doing is not to give up, no matter what. Keep trying. You will succeed one day in the way you want. Not that you're not successful. You'll succeed one day in the way you want over the years. So build relationship with key people who lead key initiatives and gain confidence. Now, you will discover them. This is how much I can explain to you. All along the path, you will discover it and how it works. The certification criteria, 100% attendance. Well. So in case you're not able to attend the session, it's okay. You have family to take care of, appreciate that. But ensure you go through the recorded sessions without fail, okay? You might be very busy, a busy person in the corporate world, working for 10 to 12 hours a day, appreciate that. Somehow try to make 20 minutes to go through the video for the day in case you missed the last session. Okay, so that way at least you keep 100% attendance during the session in case you miss in between the sessions by watching the videos. All the tests and work assignments have to be completed that I will give you from time to time. You will be awarded a trained Six Sigma Black Belt upon completion of the final certification exam with minimum qualifying marks of 60%. You'll be awarded certified Black Belt certificate, certified Six Sigma Black Belt certificate upon completion of at least one Lean Six Sigma project. If you have a question, will I coach you? Will I or my team handhold you to complete one Lean Six Sigma project? The answer is yes, very much. How? Offsite, emails, calls, web meetings if the need be. But we are more than willing to partner you to achieve one successful project, because your project will be your success story. Your success story will motivate you, nobody else's. I have my success stories to be here. You need your own success stories to get elsewhere where you want to be. So you need to churn them like there's no tomorrow. Any questions on this before I proceed further? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Levels of cognition. This course is covered and designed in these levels of cognition. In other words, you're not expected to learn every topic, every concept at all the levels. Some topics you have to learn just to remember it. Some topics you have to learn to understand it. Some topics you have to learn to be able to apply them. Some topics you have to learn to be able to analyze the jigsaw puzzle that is presented in front of you. Some of them you have to evaluate. Some of them you should be able to create on your own. So various topics you will see all over the syllabus. It will be explained to what level you probably need to learn it. And this is a table that will guide you. If you want to go back, if you want to understand to what level you have to learn any topic, come back to this table, go through this table. That should explain you much. Okay. The final examination pattern is like this. You have 150 questions, 4 hours, and good news is open book. So you do not have to by heart. You don't have to by heart any formulae, anything out there. It's an open book. Having said, a lot of people mistake, since it is open book, therefore I don't need to prepare as much. That's a wrong conception. When I took my American Society for Quality Black Belt examination way back, I could see people coming to the room with kit load of books. Again, I'm not saying anything negative here. I was anxious looking at it because I carried with me only one book and my own notes or something like that. 2 books I carried because it was an open book. I just started wondering, oh my God, am I missing something here? I was anxious. I didn't want to fail the examination. But then I realized when I took my examination, many questions I didn't have to refer at all. It was conceptual, fundamental, and asking me whether I really know the topic which I'm answering the questions on. So I had to refer only for some formula that I had to use to crack the problem, or some scenario which I thought I had read somewhere. That's it. So even if it is open book exam and you land up referring for every question, opening the book, you should understand something is wrong. Are you well prepared for the exam? Okay. So though it is open book, I encourage you to consider it's a closed book exam and prepare in the way that you would prepare for a closed book exam. And as a matter of fact, sometimes open book exams are more tougher than the closed book exams. Okay. During the examination of the final certification, no laptops. Okay, laptops are allowed, but just that in the laptop you will be able to only see the questions and multiple choice answers and be able to answer them. You should not use statistical softwares to crack the problem. The exam aspirants should use scientific calculators, self-generated notes, training program notes, or any other refresher material, textbooks, etc., and avoid carrying any multiple choice questions and answers to the final certification examination. One of the best ways to crack this examination on the first go is do as many questions and answers as you can. Okay, that's my recommendation. Any questions on the final examination pattern? Please feel free to ask. I'll be happy to answer your questions.
Hi, Sreedher sir, Abhijit here. So, what's the minimum criterion for going through this exam?
You mean to say qualification to take up this exam?
No, the minimum score to qualify as a black belt.
It depends. Good question. Very good question. So it depends. For example, the way it is graded is like this. If 20 people took the examination, then an average score is computed. because the pattern of the examinations could be tough, could be easy. So if it is easy, you probably have to be on a higher percentile. If it was tough, a lower percentile still works. Now what I'm explaining to you is actually from the lines of American Society of Equality. So they look at how everybody has fared in the examination, and they compare you with respect to what everybody has done in the examination. As for skill certification is concerned, 60% mark is the cutoff.
Uh, and sir, a follow-up question was, is this exam adaptive in nature, or so by adaptive I mean if you're answering correctly, the exam keeps on getting tougher, and or else it's just a set of questions that you need to answer.
um, Tough for me to answer that question because I was in touch with people who used to take this examination before. I will talk for two. I will respond to this question at two levels. One is at the international examination level. So to answer your question at the international examination level, I would say probably not, because the examiners are interested to know whether you have a good grasp of the fundamentals of the subject, because it's believed that if you have a good grasp of the fundamentals of the subject, you could probably solve the complex problems with some ease. So as far as I know, or I believe, no, it doesn't get or doesn't keep getting tougher and tougher. Yes, the portions can be revised, probably are revised once in a couple of years. Nothing beyond that that I know of. On the second part, the examination that I have been giving, no, it doesn't get tougher by the day. It only adjusts itself to what new concepts have to be covered in the final examination. I mean, there's no such thing called as tougher or easier in one sense, because uh, for someone who's not prepared, this might be the easiest of the examination can be tougher. Someone who's prepared very, very well, the toughest of the examination could be like, oh, I didn't expect it to be easy. So it's very subjective. Avijit, does it answer your question?
Yeah, sir, got it.
Yeah. Anybody else? So what I would like to also do is, alongside the sessions, I would like to keep sharing with you um, no assignments, worksheets, assignments. Even though today at this age we are quite used to doing and finding all the answers electronically by feeding the inputs to the machine, here what we are facing and talking to, and the machine giving us the answers. I personally recommend you should be able to crack the problem without the computers. That is when you start working by hand on the problems with just your scientific calculator. For some of you, it might sound like, why am I so traditional? Or why am I going back and not supporting the electronic advancement? Well, it's not about that. It's about the way I have personally learned this topic and subject, and I can only coach you on the way I have learned it. So, in the day that I have taken up to the subject, to the day, I probably credit, not probably, I credit my memory of the topic and understanding of the topic the days when I have done it by hand and not used computer aids to find answers to some statistical questions or business statistics and so on and so forth. So that's my personal recommendation. But however, every person is different and unique. I leave the choice to you. Okay, any other questions you have? Okay, good. Let's move on. So the body of knowledge here comprises of 9 sections. We are here. There are 9 sections in all. We are here. Okay, these 9 sections also are indicated for number of questions you may expect from each of these sections. Okay, it reminds me of my college days when we used to study hard on the sections which have highest marks to them. Reminds me of my own college days. So do not do that mistake here. The grading is like this. You might be scoring on out of out on all these topics, but very poor on these two. And you might be considered for a retake if that is the case. So you have to be consistent in your scores and performance across the sections and not just one. So keep that in the mind. So you have to ensure you read and understand all the sections equally alike to succeed not only in the examination but also at work with these topics. Okay. Before we get into section A, section 1, subsection A, let's take a quick break for 15 minutes. Grab your cup of coffee and we join here in the span of 15 minutes. So you can stop and start the video again, Anand, if that works. Anand, you there?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so let's take a quick 15 minutes break and be back.
Yeah. Hello.
Yes, I am on. I'm sorry, I had not kept my, I was not sharing my screen all this while. I'm sorry for that, but I hope you were able to follow the slides till here. Till slide number 1, till slide number 10. Okay. Okay, quick break for 15 minutes and we'll be back soon. Okay, I'm sorry I completely missed sharing my screen during the first half of the session. So anytime you see me missing something, please just unmute yourself and say screen is not visible, and I'll be I will be doing the needful early enough. Okay. So do we have everybody here? Anybody is still awaited?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, we have Avijit, we have Dinesh, Padmavati, Umesh, Siddhant, uh, Rishikesh, um, and do we have Haragopal just joined? Okay. Anybody is missing? Anand?
No, sir. Everybody's here.
Good. Welcome back to the session again. So I'm sorry, I just missed my screen share, and what I have spoken about is not outside what I've shared with you already. So in the material that you have, I spoke about this to ensure successful learning, what you should do before the session, um, during the session, after the session. Then I spoke about, remember, key performance indicator, and you should delight how you delight your stakeholders in the company. This was that slide. I spoke about the ladder. This is that ladder. I spoke about what will this course do to you. Here it is. I spoke about the criteria for certification. Here it is. I spoke about level of cognition. Here it is. Final examination pattern. And finally, I said we are here. We're starting with this section today. And there are 9 sections in all. uh, I'm not too fussy about do what it takes to complete it in 80 hours. I'm not fussy about that. Sometimes, most of the times, I'll end up spending more than 80 hours for this session, for this course, and that is in the best interest of A, covering more content, giving more real-time examples, running through some of the case studies, which may not be a part of this material, explaining you what has worked, what has not worked with me personally. So when I go on sharing such examples, it draws more time than me covering this syllabus alone. So therefore, expect the course to be 80 hours plus X number of hours, that may probably be 10, 15 or 20. I'll try my best to keep it at 80, but in case I don't, forgive me for that. Here we are, section 1, enterprise-wide planning and deployment. Okay, so this is the subsection of section 1, organization-wide considerations. Here is the detail. I hope all of you are having a copy of this. You would have downloaded from chat also. Under organization-wide deployment, planning and deployment, we have these subsections. What are the organization-wide considerations important to deploy Lean Six Sigma in the company? And then what about leadership? How should leadership be to ensure a successful deployment of Lean Six Sigma culture in the company? There are various subsections, so you will find the titles of the slide matching this exactly, and this is levels of cognition. Here we are. Which section is this? Organization-wide considerations. The fundamentals of Six Sigma and Lean methodologies. Here's the learning objective. And Six Sigma, Lean, and continuous improvement methodologies. Relationships among business systems and processes. And finally, strategic planning and deployment for initiatives. Okay. Now, I understand not all of you in this group who are learning this concept will be in a position or will be entitled to implement Lean Six Sigma in your company. So if you may ask this question to me, Sreedher, if we are not responsible or we are not, if I am not accountable for implementing Lean Six Sigma uh, in my company, what do I do? My suggestion is you still need to understand how it works in the company. Hopefully one day you will be expected. You'll be asked, knowing that you are a trained Lean Six Sigma black belt or knowing that you are a certified Six Sigma black belt, the companies carry an expectation that you're capable of deploying Lean Six Sigma in an organization. So it's important that you understand this section as much as you would like to understand the problem solving part, which will come in some days to which will appear in front of you for learning in some days to come. The fundamentals of Six Sigma and Lean methodologies, what they are and how they work. Okay, one request I have is, if possible, if you can take a if you can take a black and white copy of the material that you have downloaded for this section and the forthcoming section, it will be of great help, because you can keep this black and white copy handy for yourself to write down notes, to make your notes on the topic. Okay, or if you have a digital way of making notes on this itself as you're going through your system, please do that. So again, I'm an old school guy. I love making notes on a physical notebook or physical set of papers. I leave it to you, your choice. The history of continuous improvement. What we see today as continuous improvement is not something which has appeared from nowhere. What we see today as continuous improvement is something that has evolved from years, probably not years, decades of efforts by various quality gurus. This slide explains various quality gurus and their contributions towards evolving what we call Lean Six Sigma today. Toyota Production Systems in 1988, quality circles, statistical process control, ISO. Gone are the days when we heard about ISO consultants, are you ISO?
ಮೊಟ್ಟ ಏನಕ್ಕೋ ಇಷ್ಟ ಆಯ್ತು.
Sreedher sir, Sreedher sir, we are not able to hear you.
You're mute.
Contributions have come from various quality gurus over time. Okay.
Sir, we are not able to hear you. Sreedher, you're not audible.
Sorry?
You're not audible. Your voice is broken quite some time.
Oh, I see. Just a minute.
ಅಪ್ಪ ನೀನು ಬ್ಲೂಟೂತ್ ಆಫ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೋಪ್ಪ, ನಿನ್ ಬ್ಲೂಟೂತ್ ಆನ್ ಆಗಿದೆ.
Oh, give me my headphones. That is why. I'm sorry.
ನಾನು ಈ ಹೆಡ್ಫೋನ್ಸ್ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊತಾನೆ.
Wait. I'm sorry. That was by design, because these are the headphones which is being used by my son, and unknowingly he put it on, because if he puts it on, it should be worn by me for the session. I'm sorry for that. Can you hear me now?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
we can hear you now.
Yes.
Okay, let me just. No. Don't use this now. After the session, you use it, okay? Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yes, sure,
Yes.
sir.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry. Sorry for that. Okay, I didn't know this was kept outside and this was being used by my son. So all that I was talking was going to this, and what you're saying was coming to this. So sorry for that. Okay, so thank you for bringing it up. Let me go back again. I was in this section, this slide. So history of continuous improvement. I was telling during these are the years in which the continuous improvement has evolved. Okay, Toyota production systems, quality circles, SPC, ISO, reengineering, benchmarking, balance scorecard, Six Sigma, Lean, and Lean Six Sigma as of today. Over the years, this philosophy has evolved. So what we're learning today is not something which is discovered yesterday. Decades have gone into this to evolve this topic to what it is today. Okay, I was talking particularly about uh, the world wars which have taken place in the history. So the quality of ammunition was always in question. So how do you improve the quality of ammunition? Because ammunition is what helps you survive and succeed in the warfare. So during that time, significant emphasis was given on quality of what was manufactured. I'll say a lot of these philosophies, or most of these philosophies, have emerged from manufacturing over the years, probably towards late 1900s and early 20s. A lot of service organizations started embracing and adopting this philosophy from manufacturing. So the crux or the heart of the improvements started around the time when the world wars were going on. Over the time, the world wars caused so much devastation that the industry across the world needed to evolve from the destruction and the damage that was caused. So that led to significant discoveries on what makes things work better. So over the world wars, these philosophies have emerged with time. Some of the quality gurus and their contributions. Taylor, inspected quality. I have just kept a high level definition of contribution. I will not dwell much into this. I would request you and urge you to go and do some research if you want to know more about these contributions by these people. Cross-buy, cost of quality, 4 absolutes of management, Deming, PDCA cycle, Feinbaum, TQC, total quality control, Ishikawa, how do you prevent a quality issue, Taguchi, how do you design for quality, Duran, how do you merge leadership for quality and quality triology, Short, control charts, SPC, Kaplan and Norton, balance scorecards, Goldratt, theory of constraints, Taichi Ono, Toyota production systems, SMED, changeover concepts and Kaizen, Henry Ford, flow concepts, single piece flow, line flow, flow concepts. So various quality gurus have contributed various philosophies, and what Six Sigma has done over the years is it has combined all of them or put most of them, what has been discovered in the past, into a capsule. That capsule was made as Lean Six Sigma, was made as Six Sigma Black Belt certification capsule. So the company where this philosophy evolved, let me see if there's something on this. Okay, the company where this philosophy evolved was Motorola. So they believed that somebody in the company need to be very, very well versed with these techniques, these methodologies on a full time basis. And to me, that thought even holds good today. On a full-time basis, the company was looking for having someone to know most of these tools, techniques, methodologies, whatsoever to make processes successful. But then, how do you choose them? So they decided 1 in 100 employees must be considered for a black belt kind of training. You heard it right. 1 in 100. So when we're talking about a black belt, a Six Sigma black belt, we're talking about that person who is 1 in 100, who's capable of solving problems no matter where they occur, no matter where they exist. So if you are here doing this course today, that is what you are aiming at. To become that one person whom the organization looks at to transform its fortunes. So it's not a small thing. Never perceive this as some course that you did alongside many other courses you have done. No, sorry, you're mistaken. You're actually embarking on something which is very powerful, which produces hope for the organization to transform its culture. So when Motorola decided to identify 1 in 100 who will do the black belt training, then they had a need to define what should be contained in a black belt program. Then came the syllabus. What should black belt learn? That syllabus which evolved in Motorola is the syllabus which you see today in transformed forms over the years of what is certified Lean Six Sigma black belt syllabus. Roughly around 2000s or something like that, Lean got added. It was need of the hour. Six Sigma was causing a lot of analysis paralysis. You needed something alongside Six Sigma. As I said, you can try to be accurate and produce right quality first time, maybe taking 2 years, 3 years, but that does not serve the purpose. A perfect solution 3 years down the lane might not be just there in terms of supporting the purpose. So you needed to be fast and agile. I'm using some terms that you hear often. Agile, flexible in doing and achieving what you want to achieve. So therefore, Lean came into the picture. I'll stop at that. Over the years, 10 years, Lean became a part of Six Sigma black belt syllabus. Therefore, it's more of a Lean Six Sigma black belt syllabus rather than just Six Sigma syllabus that we have in front of us today. So this syllabus is not something which has happened yesterday. This syllabus is carved out with years and years of various people making it work in diverse industry segments across the world. That is the way it is evolved so far. Okay. Any questions on the history of continuous improvement, quality gurus? Okay, let me move forward. But I request you, encourage you to know more about these contributions in quality gurus on your own, going to the Google. Then comes a topic which we have to learn called as critical to quality. So what does continuous improvement focus on? It focuses on critical to quality aspects. What is critical to quality aspect? Here, look at this. The verbatim, the need, and the requirement. I want the pizza that I ordered. That is the voice of the customer. That's it. The need is right pizza to the right person. Sometimes in the pizza shop, they gave me my order saying that, sir, this is for you. I look at it and say, no, this is non-veg. I didn't order non-vegetarian. Mine is veggie. They say, oh, sorry. So right pizza to the right person. The requirement is how can I be accurate? Okay. I want my pizza when you said it would be here, which means pizza delivered on time. The requirement is timeliness. I want my delivery person to be friendly. I don't want him to be rude. I want him to be courteous. So the person is polite. Requirement is complaints, service, the quality of service that is rendered by the pizza delivery guy. I'm not going to pay a lot for this pizza. So the price has to be competitive. It should not be very high compared to what it is in the market for others in the same segment. So the price. So the requirement, which is in a layman term for the customers, the verbatim transforms into need. The need produces a requirement. Okay. So the needs could be another example. Needs could be a nice cafe experience. What drives these needs? The time to serve, the price, the quality. The time to serve breaks down further as quality response and the waiting time. A quick response and the waiting time. One can say quick response less than 10 minutes, waiting time 20 minutes, drinks less than $5, food less than $20, and so forth. So a need which the customer has transforms into what we call a CTQ, critical to quality, vis-a-vis drivers and requirements. If you look at it this way, most of the goods that we consume in the world today, we do not specify the technical parameters on what we are asking for. We actually specify the experience we seek of that particular product or service. Experience we seek. So here is where many companies, many processors, many businesses fire. Here is where most of the companies where I have been, they almost look at these CTQs, critical to quality, from their own perspective. They do not look at these CTQs from the customer's perspective. Okay, so one has to understand how do we understand and translate a layman's language into a CTQ, critical to quality parameter, which is measurable. Mark these words, measurable. Why? Only when it is measurable, you can do something about it. What you cannot measure, you cannot control. What you cannot measure, you cannot improve. So therefore, you have to strive to understand who are the customers, what are the needs. Now, the moment I say who are the customers, for those of you who are not in sales and marketing, you will not be able to connect to it like this. Most of you who are in production operations, you'll be wondering how this is for. You might be wondering, or you might be mistaking that this is for, or this is for sales and marketing department. No, 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 no. A customer who can be an external person receiving your products and services, and a customer can also be an internal person or somebody who is the next step, a recipient of the output that you produce on day-to-day basis internally in the organization. Internally in the organization also is a customer. So customers can be of two types. One is external customer, other is internal customer. Our ignorance of the internal customers and their requirements actually is what, as a chain, contributes to our ignorance of who the external customers are We know this answer, but what do they need? What do they want? And are we satisfying them? So basically, it's very, very important to understand who are my internal customers, who are my external customers, what do my internal customers need, what are the drivers, what are the requirements, what are the CTQs. Okay, this is for your understanding. So when these critical to quality parameters are perceived, they can be perceived in a Kano model. We have seen this Kano model already, which I've explained to you earlier. Let me explain to you once again. The requirements of the customers, the customer requirements, which is critical to quality parameters, they can be broadly classified into three categories. What are those? Exciter needs, performance needs, basic needs. Basic needs are usually the stated needs, By meeting these needs, a company doesn't delight the customer. For example, I'm boarding a flight from Bangalore to Chennai. My stated need is give me my boarding pass, which I don't have to struggle for, so that I can board the flight on time and land on time. My basic need is ensure the flight leaves Bangalore and you don't cancel the flight. My basic need is make me reach on time as per the schedule that you have promised when I booked the tickets. These are all my basic needs. Performance needs. Sometimes I might land little early in the airport and I may say, look, my flight is at actually 9 o'clock, but is there a way you can put me onto any prior flight? I have ample time. And if they say, wait a minute, sir, let me have a look at availability. If so, we can put you. And if they put me onto a earlier flight, then they're actually more competitive. They're becoming competitive. So I will pick that up as one of the features for me to book my flight tickets in that airline again. When I'm saying this is my personal perception, the way in which it works for me. I'm not talking on everyone's behalf. Okay. Then what's delighter? Excitement need. I boarded a flight recently and they gave me a complimentary breakfast. That was delighter because I had not booked my breakfast in the flight. Delighter. I did not state I need the breakfast because I hadn't paid for it, but they still gave. That's a delighter need. Okay. So these needs, delighter needs, are not generally stated by the customer. Remember one basic rule. When you're struggling, when the company or the process is struggling in meeting the basic needs, there is no point in going and trying to fulfill the excitement needs. I recall an incident. I landed in the airport. I had to fly somewhere. It was a very, very critical meeting for me. The flight got cancelled. I said, okay, for goodness sake, do something, put me onto some other flight. Even it is in the wee hours of the night, I'm fine, but I have to be there at any cost tomorrow. They didn't bother about that. They said, sir, somebody said in the group there, some manager, somebody, sir, but we're compensating that by giving you tomorrow morning flight of our own, our own flight, and tonight you can be in your you can be our guest in our 4-star lounge. I was like, no, thank you so much. I appreciate, but that does not help me. So he was trying to fulfill the excitement need for me. He wanted me to be excited by getting an entry or a stay into a 4-star lounge, and by putting me on to a flight which will put my meeting or appointments in jeopardy tomorrow morning. So that was a mistake. So the basic need has to be fulfilled first in all aspects before you think of offering an excitement need to somebody or some consumer, at least of my likes. So Kano model describes the critical to quality parameter in 3 levels: the basic, the performance, and the excitement need. We will look into this in some other detail later, but this is for you to understand. There are 3 levels of critical to quality parameters, and these 3 levels are expressed in 3 different categories: excitement needs, performance needs, basic need. Okay, any questions on this? You can unmute and you can ask me. 5, 4, 3,
Yeah.
2.
Hi, sir.
Go ahead.
Abhijit here. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So in any of these need buckets that you mentioned, does overdoing any of these buckets result in an adverse effect on the organization?
It
Or
does.
is it always like a unilinear sort of a relation?
No, it does. See, what happens is if you have 10 customers there, 20 customers there, or hundreds or thousands or millions of customers there, it will be dangerous to perceive there is one size fit all. For example, a lot of features might excite some customers over there, whereas a lot of features might land irritating some customers there, and they might drop the product entirely because of that lone factor. So you're right. So overdoing any of this might act counterproductive, and it varies from person to person in terms of the perception carried on the product or the service. So what Kano does is, there's a very detailed explanation of Kano later on. What Kano does is it helps you quantify and clarify as an organization what are the real or the prioritized or the true critical to quality parameters which will help you sell better, which will help your products and services move better in the market. So there's very detailed calculation involved. There's a very detailed survey design involved. There's a detailed survey analytics involved to use the Kano model at organization level. That is covered in great depth later. Does it answer your question?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so any other questions? Anybody else?
Yeah, Sreedher.
Sarah here.
Yes,
Sorry.
please.
Okay, can we conveniently conclude that basic needs met by a mile is a performance need?
Sorry,
Like
say it again.
taking your own example of the flight thing. Say, suppose the flight needs to reach there by 10:30, it reaches by 10 o'clock. So is that a performance need fulfilled?
Well, for me, if I'm the consumer, I really don't worry about when it reaches the airport. I only worry about when I board the plane. So for me, that would not make much of a difference.
Okay.
I mean, as a perspective, I'm saying. But what will make a difference to me is, if I'm the customer, is consistency in ensuring I leave on time, I depart on time, and reach on time. Yes, when the basic needs are consistently fulfilled, that does make a service offer or a product offer competitive over time. But consistency is the word.
Yeah, got it. And just to add on what Abhijit was mentioning, on his question, my thoughts essentially I'm trying to share.
Yes, please.
Somebody who is thirsty needs to be given a glass of water and not a glass of ghee.
Correct.
Ghee is definitely more expensive, but it doesn't serve the purpose. So you can't overdo something is the message conveyed. Got the point.
Right.
Just my thoughts. Okay.
Yes, please. Absolutely.
Thank you.
Anybody else?
Yeah, Sreedhar.
Yes.
See, actually, meeting the basic requirements. Suppose I'm not able to meet the basic customer requirement because of some constraints or the other, which is which requires some more investment where management is not willing to extend, or is it not possible to make that changes now on the machines. So in such a case, then how do you go for the next level?
Very good question. I would say excellent question asked in this perspective. Therefore, when I come to the other sections which comes later on, there's a great amount of emphasis laid on aligning the Lean Six Sigma philosophy with companies' long-term vision, mission, and objectives. If Lean Six Sigma is exercised as a standalone initiatives, then not willing to understand what is the voice of the customer at these three levels happens first, unwillingness. Then comes not fulfilling the requirements or not acknowledging what does it take to fulfill the basic requirements comes next. And what comes third is failure to fulfill the basic requirements even at the utilities or infrastructure level. That kind of a company is entirely self-centered, self-focused, and probably has not appropriately aligned the initiative with what it wants to achieve on a midterm or a long-term basis as a whole. Does it answer your question?
Yeah, but I'm thinking how to change, how to align and all those things.
Well, here is the thing. Again, these questions, you hold on to them, you will find many more answers coming your way along the course in the forthcoming sections. When I go to consult in the companies usually want to hire me for solving problems. I'll end up asking one question to them to understand better. Why do you solve problems? Why do you want to solve problems? What's the problem with living with them? Why don't you live with them? What's the big deal? Because we are so much used to seeing problems every day. What's the problem with living with the problems? Why do you think I asked that question? Any ideas?
No,
What's wrong with living with problems all around? Why should a company embark on even solving any problem that they have? Why is this question important to answer?
They might be undergoing losses because of those problems.
Right? In other words, I'm striving to understand what is the business case for implementing a Lean Six Sigma strategy or any CI strategy in the workplace or in the organization. Okay. Now, if the company is behind, significantly behind on infrastructure and on the basic requirements that needs to be fulfilled as an organization, then for that company to embark on this journey will not be fruitful or successful to the degree that it usually is. So therefore, when deploying Lean Six Sigma in the organization, it's very, very important to ask the question, why do you want this philosophy to be deployed in the company and why now? Why now? What Lean Six Sigma philosophy not do, I can tell you. It will not help you pay the salaries on time just because you started or embarked on this journey. So if the company is not, I'm giving an example of another company where I worked where it did not work. I'm telling you cases from where it did not work. A company started on this journey in Pune long ago and they wanted to become a Lean Six Sigma company, but they were having tough time paying salaries on time. they had delayed the payment of salaries for almost 2 months, and they were expecting something like this will turn the tables around for them. Do you think that will work as fast as you expect it to?
Not really.
It won't work. However, I did go ahead. That was several years back, 10, 12 years back, or even more. I did go ahead, tried my best, and there were great solutions on the anvil that could have really worked to save a lot in terms of the scrap and other things that were being produced. But then nobody was keen to even take a small iota of that idea and solution and run forward because they were not paid their salaries on time. What's the point? So therefore, if the basic needs are not being fulfilled because of lack of infrastructure, because of lack of resources that requires to be there, I'm sorry, but Lean Six Sigma cannot do much about it. Does that answer your question?
Yes, Sreedher.
So you need working capital, you need capital expenditure and good resources to make this work. So therefore, it's important to draw our attention to the fact that when Motorola started on this journey, when Motorola embarked on this journey, they were not struggling with the profitability. They were not struggling with running the mill. They were having issues in terms of the market share being eaten by the competition. They did not have issues at the basic levels. So when they started and embarked on this journey, they were not doing poor job of what they were producing. They were doing a good job. Honestly, they were doing a good job of what they were producing, but they needed to be great to survive in the competitive market versus the Japanese product, which was flooded in the market, which was outstanding in its quality and delivery. So therefore, a lot of companies who are struggling with low profitability, infrastructure issues, cash crunches, lack of working capital, such places I do not recommend to start off on a Lean Six Sigma journey at all. I say do a strategic thinking to really think through as to what do you think you need right now to hold your feet firm on the ground. That is the way it works. Okay. Anybody else? Any questions? Let's move on. Anything we look at in this world is bounded by two things, or at least one of these. Anything, any product, any service we look into the world is bounded by one or more of this. Everything has an upper specification to it, which is called upper specification limit. Everything has, or some things, or most of the things have upper specifications and lower specifications. Most of them have only lower specifications and not upper specifications. Some of them have got more both upper specification and lower specifications. Okay, so we are just getting a little familiar with these terminologies of USL and LSL, upper specification limit and lower specification limits. Okay, so for those who are not familiar with this term, like in banking and finance, you may be using this for sure, but you may not be familiar with this term if at all. So upper specification limit could be like turnaround time, TAT, turnaround time. So turnaround time, SLA, service level agreement on the turnaround time should not be more than 14 hours. It could be 14 hours or 14 days or whatsoever. Okay. Can I ask you a question? When the customer or the client says the expected turnaround time is 14 days, which specification is he pointing towards? You can unmute and answer my question.
USL limit. USL.
Right? Anybody else? Any other answers for somebody? Which part of this is it pointing towards? Any other answers apart from USL?
Ideally, the middle point of
Target.
USL and LSL.
Target.
Target. Anybody else who's saying it is LSL? Okay, so choice is between USL and the target. Okay. Now, when you want to make it to the airport at 10 o'clock to board a flight at 12 o'clock, do you want to reach the airport on an average 10 o'clock, or do you want to reach the airport before 10 o'clock?
Before 10 o'clock.
Before 10.
Exactly. So in principle, the 14 hours is like that. So the customer means worst case, ship it to me, send it to me on or before 14 hours. But more often than not, what happens? We are so much caught in looking at 14, 14, 14, 14. We almost ship it at 13 hours, 55 minutes. More or less. It is like I will send a report by EOD. What is actually EOD? EOD, many of you might have used.
End of
End of day.
End of the day. So what does end of the day mean? What time or clock of the day does it mean usually?
Before 5.
Before 5. But probably end of the day goes till 12 also, right?
Yes.
11, 11:30.
11:55.
11:55. So all of us have exercised that. So basically, it's like this. When a customer gives you a specification or a critical to quality parameter, 10 days, 12 days, 5 days, he's expressing in a way that, look, this is my specification beyond which I will call anything that comes to me as a defect. However, if we perceive that as an average that we have to achieve, then you will have some part of the average going beyond 14, some part of the population, sorry, not average, some part of the population going beyond 14, some part of the population below 14. If the data is normally distributed, what is normal distribution? I'll come to later. Okay, if a data follow a bell-shaped curve, then you will have precisely 50% on either side of the specifications. That would mean that to board 11 o'clock flight, on an average, I reach at 10 to airport if I'm a frequent flyer. So when I say on an average I reach at 10, it is scary because 10 can be an average of both 9 and 11. That is scary. In other words, I will not be surprised if 50% of the times the person who makes this claim lands to airport maybe half an hour before the boarding time and all that stuff. It's quite possible. So we have to understand the specifications, not just from the point of view that they are these upper specs and lower specs, but also from the point of view that when the customer could be internal or external, when the customer specifies a number, what does he mean by it? Does he mean that that's the worst case? Does he mean that's the best case or the average case? Okay, so go beyond looking at USL and LSL. That's the way it works. So when we have a variation and defects in a process and we apply Six Sigma kind of philosophy, then it reduces the deviation, it reduces the variation and defects, and what was seemingly a big fat process, there's a good chance of it becoming narrowed down or squeezed into more predictable and stable looking process. Okay, in other words, Six Sigma increases the probability of a process to meet the customer specification consistently. Too much variation is unpredictable, unstable, unreliable. When we reduce the variation, it's good. We like it this way. The products and services must meet the specification consistently. When we further reduce the variation, it becomes more predictable, more reliable, more stable. Okay. Let me give you one more example here. Let us say there are two bus services, bus service A and bus service B. These two bus services, they actually carry you to your office. Okay. Now I'm putting some random numbers to them. On an average, this bus service leaves at 8:30 a.m. and this bus service also leaves at 8:30 a.m. Okay, both the bus services depart on an average at 8:30 a.m. from your house to your office. My question to you is, which bus service will you choose and why?
Based on the arrival time, whichever is better.
Based on the arrival time, whichever is better. Let us say both of them close to arrive again on an average basis around 9 o'clock only to office. By just looking at these two metrics here, these two numbers here for these two bus services, can we make a choice based on these two numbers alone?
No.
No.
We can't, because what I'm looking at is a number which is saying on an average these two bus services are available. Now what I do is I now do a sample. I did 3 samples, random samples of waiting at the bus station and finding out or in traveling by these 3 buses separately on 3 occasions. And here is my sample time of departure. Okay. 8:30. One of the days departed at 8:35. On the other day departed at 8:30, whereas on one more day departed at 8:25. Similarly, I did a sample study of another bus service too. Okay, and this time, just a minute, let me connect my charger. Yeah. So in this time, when I did 3 samples, there was these 3 numbers that I calculated or collected from my sample study. So on one odd day, the bus left at 8:30. 8:30. Another day it left at 9, and one more day it left at 8. Okay. Now, which bus would you choose and why?
The first one.
First one.
The first one, exactly. What makes you choose the first one?
Variation.
Consistent.
Lesser variations.
Lesser variation.
Lesser variation. So look at this. Knowingly or unknowingly, consciously or subconsciously, we all prefer consistency in our lives. Be it the milkman who delivers the milk in the morning. If he is very inconsistent, and there have been times when actually I get up in the morning and prefer to have a cup of coffee, hot, strong cup of coffee to start the day with after a bit of my walking and other things. It only happens when the milkman delivers the milk on time. I have 15 minutes of my time to read the newspapers. It can happen only when the newspaper guy delivers newspaper consistently on time. So you start the day with a desire or unconscious desire of consistency in the life. And there are many things in your life that will be consistent and therefore you like it. If I think about food joints, popular food joints, which I've been to, it could be an idli center or dosa center or burgers, etc. I can make one observation from all of them. The quality of idli, the quality of chutney, which I ate there several years back, hasn't changed from what it used to be. It remains the same, consistent. Similarly, if you see many other places, many examples, it is same consistent. One great example of consistency and coming on certain time is from our own country. Can you cite? Can you think of that example? I'll give you a hint. It's from Mumbai.
The Dabbawalas.
Two examples, sorry. One is Dabbawalas. Have you heard about Dabbawalas? Anybody who hasn't heard about Dabbawalas?
We heard about.
Dabbawalas are the guys who actually carry the tiffin boxes, collect them from houses and deliver it to the offices where the people from home have gone to work. So it gives some time to the household person to prepare the food and get it packed and exactly make it delivered on or before the time when the lunch takes place in different places, different offices. That's one example. Second is actually I've seen Bombay trains, Bombay local trains. So when I was in Bombay and I went there to board a train in some place, I said, ये वाला जो गाड़ी है ये कितना बजे आता है? What time does it come? Then the answer is to be 8:24. I was like, why are they saying 8:24, 8:23 and all? Why don't they round off 8:25 or 8:30? But I was amazed looking at 8:24, bang, train is in. 8:23, 8:17, 8:17 को आता है, 8:14 को आता है, 8:10 को आता है, 8:11 को आता है. So I was amazed at the level of consistency I found when I visited that particular place. What does that help me in return? That helps me to plan my own work better. Number one, it helps me to make my own work predictable because I can in that case adjust or design my own engagement to suit that level of consistency. But if that is not consistent, if it is varying, kabhi idhar, kabhi udhar, kabhi idhar, kabhi udhar, then that keeps me unsettled. I am not able to plan, design and execute my own work in that phase. Okay. Sometimes it happens. When I order for something from a shop, it has to be delivered. I do not want it before time, much before time. Neither do I want it too late. I do not want it early in the morning. I do not want it in the late hours of the day, late night. Okay. So I have certain specifications in which my life works. So if I've ordered something from the market, something has to come, say from an e-commerce company or from some other place. It will be great if I say it comes on so and so date between 7 o'clock and 8 o'clock. If it comes early to that, I may have a problem of not being at home to receive it. So while it might sound that this is a delighter for many, it may not be delighter. It may actually put me off, saying that अरे बोला तो था नहीं आने के इस टाइम पे तो आके वापस क्यों गया? And I needed it so badly. So on. So consistency is something that all of us or most of us unconsciously desire and want in our respective lives. Now this example, this simple example, when I said 8:30 a.m. on an average, 2 bus services, it was hard to make a choice. This example I have used with a lot of laymen across the country and abroad. Bank comes the answer. The moment I put these 3 digits here and here, bank comes the answer, and I can say 100 out of 100 have desired to go with bus service A. Not even one person so far in my quest to seek this answer has said other choice. So I'm not saying the right and wrong choices here. I'm just saying that this kind of a performance helps make you, not only you, predictable, but it helps others in the supply chain to plan and work predictably. Therefore, why Six Sigma became so popular, why it is caught the attention of the world as it is today, that is for one single reason I can say, is because it aims at achieving consistency in whatever you do. It aims at reducing the variation that exists in the process, which is a necessary evil, understood. But how can we compress and reduce the variation that exists in the process and make it more predictable, more stable, and therefore most reliable? Okay, this is the way in which works. This question has been asked to me several times. Even today, people ask me when I go to consult in the companies. Sreedher, is Six Sigma applied? Can it be applied in my type of a business, my type of a product, my type of a company? My answer has been, look at these three parameters. My answer has been, it is applicable to you and your product and your services if these three conditions are fulfilled. What are the three conditions? Condition number one, you have something that is called as a customer specification. You have something that is defined that you have to achieve. It could be a service level agreement, SLA. It could be a key performance indicator that your clients want you to achieve, or something that is a number that is measurable, quantifiable, that you seek to achieve. If the company says, Array, do we have any such thing? Do we have anything which is quantifiable and measurable? If the answer is not quite, not much, then I say put brakes on your Lean Six Sigma implementation. First, go there and define them. First, go there and set them. Because if you're not having a goal post, where will you run with the ball? What would you call as a goal if you don't have the goal post? You will play and run behind the ball, do great tackling, do all that in a game of soccer. But what will be called as a goal? Nothing. So does a very good tackling. But what for? He's a great defender. So midfielder, whatever. If there are no 3 wickets on this side and this side, what will be the meaning of game of cricket? If you don't get out, or if there's no way to get out. So you have to put 3 wickets here, 3 wickets there. Okay, what is out and what is just playing, so forth. So there has to be something which is called as specifications. Then there has to be a goal or a target. Just having a measurable number doesn't help. Yeah, we are measuring, for example, somebody says, yes, we are measuring the turnaround time of this process like never before. We have 100% data with us. Great. What is the goal? What should that turnaround time be within? Well, there's no such target. We try to constantly reduce it. I do understand your effort and appreciate that you're constantly trying to reduce it. But if you do not have a goal and fix a goal to achieve on daily basis, on weekly basis, monthly, quarterly, semi-annually, annually, then it becomes a wild goose chase. Now you need to have specifications, not only specifications, you need to have some kind of a goal or a target which is chasing. Then you need to have something which could be put together called as a process, some method in the madness. So if you have these three, then you qualify to implement Lean Six Sigma. If you do not have these three, in the companies who do not have these three, I would say do not waste your time in implementing Lean Six Sigma in such a company. So maybe it's not the right time. It's the right thing to do, but not the right time to do it. So first things first, you have to set right performance indicators, your goals, your specifications of the process. Okay, That is the way in which it works. I'll just take off this example. This was for the understanding purposes. I hope this explains to you the importance of variation in our day-to-day life and why do we seek something to be less variant than otherwise. The way in which Six Sigma works is defined by this one chart that you see in front of you. Six Sigma looks at everything from SIPOC perspective, SIPOC perspective. What is SIPOC? Suppliers, input. Who are the suppliers? They can be one or many. So when I say suppliers, it does not mean just somebody who's a vendor or a supplier to your company. A supplier also means your predecessor, your preceding step in the chain of the process steps that you are. What's the preceding step? The preceding step is a supplier. They could be many. They could be internal suppliers. They could be external suppliers. These suppliers provide inputs. What are those? These inputs could be information, raw material, policies, goals, specifications, whatsoever. These inputs go into a process. There are many. Human resources processes, finance processes, accounts, operations, design, development, whatever. These processes produce an output. What are those? An output can be information, a report, an MIS, an action, a check, an amount which has got disbursed. It could be Bacardi, Breezer. It could be an automobile, whatever, an output, which could be physical or it could be digital, or it could be just a piece of paper, which is a report. There could be one or many. It can also be a feedback to improve. These output go to a customer. There are many, one or many customers. These customers again can be internal or external to the company. So your entire system, entire business enterprise is a complex network of suppliers, inputs, processes, outputs, customer is a complex network of customers. Question to you guys, unmute and respond to this question. Which part of this process governs the output from the process? It should be very obvious to you. Which part of the system governs the output produced?
I think it's input.
Suppliers, input, and process. All three.
Exactly. All the three: suppliers, inputs, and processes. Okay, they govern the quality of the output. Okay. Second question to you guys. Most of the times, what are we which part of the process we are measuring more often than not?
Process. No. Input.
Output. That is an output. Accuracy is an input. Accuracy is an output. For example, number of transactions completed, output. Number of batches of material produced, output. Number of cases produced, output. Number of bottles produced, output. Number of shipments shipped, output. You will see 90%, if I'm not exaggerating, 90 to 95%, our entire concentration and focus is nailed on output, 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 output. All the dashboards, all the key performance indicators are usually designed, defined, and based on the output. Okay. So, and when the output numbers, when the charts, when the graphs designed or desired of this output, they look terrible. Meetings are called, people meet, they discuss, debate, brainstorm, and finally come to a conclusion. More often than not, who's gone wrong? Which department has gone wrong? Who has gone wrong? It's not easy for me to see and say that I've come across many places or come across places who rather focus on what's gone wrong. So end of the day, it's a issue which has got escalated. Now, who erred? Who caused this to happen? In my personal opinion, nobody comes to an office in the morning, or I would say almost nobody comes to office in the morning thinking, let me do a damage today. Let me miss this SLA today. Let me miss that KPI today. Everybody comes to office in the morning to only meet something that gives them joy. But then when they're called, cornered, questioned, why did you do this the way it is? That is when the heavens fall loose. And the poor person may not have even an explanation. He is puzzled, he is confused himself, thinking, why did I do this? In other words, it is the missing piece of the puzzle, which basically a lack of the understanding or lack of comprehensive understanding of how best should these three parts of the process work together. That is missing. What are the inputs? How should these inputs be governed or taken into consideration? In what sequence by the process? Who are the suppliers? Who should be the suppliers? What are the inputs? What should be the inputs? How is the process sequenced, aligned, defined? How should it be defined? So the lack of this side of the business processes produces an uncertainty on this side of the business. Always. Uncertainty, always. So the day starts with firefighting, day ends with firefighting. And that becomes normal. On a day when you don't firefight, you feel probably, you might feel you're missing something. अरे आज तो कुछ हुआ ही नहीं. The day turns out to be like that. So you miss excitement. I miss excitement when there's no events on the day. अरे कुछ तो हुआ ही नहीं यार, कैसे? मतलब something is missing. So on and so forth. On the lighter side, I'm saying. So therefore, Six Sigma philosophy, what I have understood, I have not read books, as I already mentioned to you, I have not got formally trained anywhere. I could not afford one training for myself. The way I have looked at the processes is no rocket science. What helps me to address the problems or facilitate the problem independent of the domain is just a good and comprehensive understanding. I would not say just, I would say a good and comprehensive understanding of SIPOC to begin with. The solutions, आपके problems जो हैं, the problems that you have are all locatable here. But solutions, you cannot find them here. Solutions can only be found here in this side of the process. So therefore, become mindful that any process that you are looking at, any process you want to address for problem solving, it's very, very important for you to understand at a high level to begin with, what is the process, what are the inputs, who are the suppliers, what are the outputs, who are the customers. At least at a high level, this understanding will help. Okay, so over time, not immediately, over time, I'm not telling to do away with all the measures you have on this side. I'm not telling that. I'm telling over time, you have to discover what is causing a change here. That what is causing a change here belongs to this part of the process. Be mindful. If you're looking for a change here, looking at only this side of the process, you're looking for solutions in the wrong place. It never works that way. So realign, relocate yourself to get to this part of the process. So that is the way in which the Six Sigma framework is designed. The Six Sigma framework looks at y is a function of x. What is y? Y is here. What are the x's? X's are here. So this y is a function of x's, which is here. So understand it this way. Any questions on this? The DMAC cycle. We will learn all about DMAC all through the course. The DMAC cycle is define the problem, measure the current state, analyze for root causes, improve the processes, control the processes. So Six Sigma problem solving approach is primarily or fundamentally designed around these 5 steps. This is the most happening thing today, data science. Data science. By the way, to share with you, a lot of people I know who are black belts, I was puzzled when they ran helter-skelter towards doing a data science degree or something like that. I mean, again, I'm not judgmental here. I was puzzled. I'm using the word very cautiously. If you understand the tenet of Six Sigma to the depth that it requires, actually we'll be understanding a lot about data and data science in itself. So some people who walked up to me said, Sreedher, I am a Six Sigma certified guy, Six Sigma certified black belt. I would like to take up a data science course and I want to become a data scientist. After doing the course, what's your advice? I said, look, again, this is my personal perception and I may be wrong. My question to that person was, to these people was, why do you think you'll become data scientist by only going here and doing this and by taking a certificate or by appearing for an examination as a degree or something like that? You can become data scientist even otherwise. Well, as long as you're applying for a job, the job calls for a good data scientist certificate, that's a different issue. Okay, I will not get much into this conversation with such people. Then I asked the question, are you looking at doing some development work alongside data? No. I'm quite clear. I don't want to do a development kind of a work, IT development. I just want to become data scientist. But then I say, with the background that you have a Six Sigma black belt background, you can still become a data scientist by dwelling deeper and much into all the topics that you have learned in Six Sigma, and you have to learn a bit more about architecture of how data science works vis-a-vis BI systems, business intelligence systems, and so on and so forth. Well, my take is this much. If you learn the statistical tools and techniques enough to model, I'm using the word model, your response, which is Y, based on the X's which belong to supplier, process, and inputs, you have understood most about data science. So what is data science? In a nutshell, is all about this slide, what you see in front of you. What does it do? A data science is expected to understand the problem that impacts a business performance end of the day. Okay. A data science is expected to transform or translate a practical problem into a statistical problem with data and facts. Then a data science is expected to produce a statistical solution, which could be y is a function of x. If y has to be this much, then x has to be that much. If I have to reach airport at 9 o'clock, I have to leave my house at 7:30. If I'm leaving on or before 7 a.m. If I have to reach the airport at 2 o'clock, then I must leave my house at on or before 12 o'clock. A factor, a delta was got added. House is same, airport is same. The delta is the adjustment of time to commute to the airport given the traffic congestion at that point in time, which is time of the day. Statistical solution. So a practical problem converted to statistical problem to statistical solution to practical solution is what is required. So practical solution says, look, we have modeled the time it takes to reach the airport from where you are today. So if you go to GPS, you say I'm here today. Now I want to go to airport. It tells me approximately how much time it takes. 1 hour 43 minutes for the given route it shows. Such information today in my on my fingertips, on my hand, was made possible because of data science. And data science is something which Six Sigma brought about decades back. Before Six Sigma came into picture, as per the books what I have read, not much emphasis was given to data. So when Six Sigma was brought about, all these types of data, discrete, continuous, ANOVA, regression, correlation, they started becoming very popular. So what is today called as data science, to me, has evolved from what we called as Six Sigma years back. But of course, there are additions and modifications to it in terms of data science entails you have to learn the IT infrastructure necessary to make data science work. That's definitely an advantageous part. So in the world of Six Sigma, in the world of statistical based problem solving, or a y is a function of x, you start with a practical problem, end with a practical solution, but not only that, as per the Six Sigma philosophy, you have to ensure that it is sustainable. Great results, good results are sustainable. And this entire chain of actions or activities is tightly bound by what you would call as voice of customer or voice of process, because end of the day you are only trying to achieve what delights your customer. Because of that customer you are in the market today, because of that customer you are in business today. So everything is looked, scrutinized from the purview of voice of customer and voice of process. Okay. So this is the way in which data-based decision making is an integral part of Six Sigma working. So as far as possible, start consciously refraining from expressing opinions based on what you think it is. Okay, it has to become a habit as you go. Over time, it will take some time. I would prefer to say I don't know much about this rather than make some wild guesses. How much time does it take from your house to that place? I say, wait a minute. But I don't take chances. I would say, wait a minute, let me see. I may be wrong. That's the way it works. So, supplier input, process, output, customer. Look at an integral view, integrated view. Steps to solve problem, 5 steps, and data-based decision making. These 3, when combined with a project management approach, which has got certain activities or tasks defined to be accomplished, to complete, define activities for measure, analyze, improve, control. So when the problem solving happens in this fashion, this becomes a project that needs to be managed and managed better. And that helps to identify and structure your problem solving execution in the right ways from the word go. Okay, so the way in which DMAC works, these 5 steps work, this is no art, this is science. There are defined set of activities to be accomplished under each of these steps, DMAIC. I have a template which I've prepared from my experience. I'll share it with you. All that I have learned, gained, understood of this philosophy, I have nothing to keep to myself. I will give away everything as far as I can to you to use. Tools, templates, what I have seen working, etc. in each of these phases. Okay. Any questions on this? So DMAC works in a very structured way, in a very defined way. There are activities to be executed at each of these phases. There are toll gate reviews. Who does the toll gate review? The sponsors. Who are the sponsors? Those who have interest in your project, in your Six Sigma project. Why would they be interested in your Six Sigma project? Good question to ask. Because the current year goal and objective of the company is to reduce 10% of the cost. And if the cost is not reduced by 10%, you will not get your bonuses this year. You will not get your incentives this year. So there is what's in it for me. Only usually, mostly, when there is something called what's in it for me, people might be little inclined to see what it is and tread the path. Okay. So tools and techniques are all over the place. The expected deliverables at each of these phases, and that is how overall Six Sigma problem solving is more of a project management approach, a project which has got defined milestones, defined set of activities, and tasks to be executed to achieve the goal and objective. That is the beauty of this philosophy. It's not art. It is made problem solving a science, a profound science. Six Sigma scale. We have been talking about Six Sigma, Six Sigma, Six Sigma. My goodness, somebody give me a break. What is this Six Sigma all about? Why 6? Why not 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, -1, -2? Okay, if you have some questions like that in your mind, this is just the beginning of answering that question to begin with. Just remember, higher the number, better you're performing. At a Six Sigma level, it's called as a Z score or a Z score also. When your Z score on a scale of 1 to 6 is 6, then your probability of product or the process meeting the specifications is this much, 99 point several lines percentage. When you're operating at 5 sigma process, it's this 4, 3, 2, 1. When Motorola started the journey, they were not here. They were here. They were at a 4 sigma level of performance already when they embarked on the journey. So many companies in Japan are already operating at 5, 4, 5, 6. From my experience in the companies where I have been, I rate them somewhere here between 2, 3. I have also seen 1, by the way, or below 1. Indian context I have seen between 1, 2 and 2.5, at the most 3. Not beyond that yet. So this is world class. 4 and 3 industry average. 1 and 2 poor or non-competitive companies. This is just to remember at a gross level. Six Sigma. This is a Six Sigma process. The moment you say this is a Six Sigma process, I understand that this process will not be producing any defect whatsoever. That defect is something that the customer has defined to be defect, not your definition, is what I assume that I understand. So you asked me a question. So Sreedher, do you mean to say that Six Sigma has nothing to offer for a new setup, new process, new development? Array? No. It's got several things to offer for a new setup, new process, new development. Look at it this way. Any journey starts from either voice of customer or voice of business. Voice of customer, voice of business. Can you give me a minute? I'll grab a glass of water and be back. Sorry, don't mind. Just give me a minute. I'll grab a glass of water and be back. So if your question was, so does Six Sigma offer anything for a new product development or a new design? Yes, it does. Look at it this way. Voice of customer, voice of business. The question is, do we need improvement? Yes. Okay, by the way, question to all of you. If voice of business, the stakeholders of the company, they do not answer this question as yes, would you start a Six Sigma journey? If yes, why? If no, why? If yes, why? If no, why? Somebody's trying to speak, but I'm not able to hear.
Uh, so basically, you would not have a goal to start off with, uh, and that's why you wouldn't engage in a Six Sigma implementation.
Correct. So your effort and time to engage with Lean Six Sigma implementation will be completely futile. You will do a great success story, but nobody will appreciate, nobody will recognize. So it starts with that question to business leaders, not to you, not to the black belts, not to the master black belts. The question is to the business leaders. Do we need this philosophy in the first place? If so, why? Unless there is a convincing answer that the business leaders have to give, there is no starting point in Lean Six Sigma deployment. I'm sorry for that. So tomorrow, why I'm telling these things to you? Because tomorrow you might be getting hired in a company as a Lean Six Sigma black belt. You might be drawing, you might be getting paid handsomely because you are a certified, trained Lean Six Sigma black belt resource, etc. But be mindful that if you enter any such company which does not have a very clearly stated need aligned with the business goals and objectives to implement Lean Six Sigma, you'll be out of that place sooner than later. Frustration is only given in such a case. So be mindful. Now I have learned some lessons very hard ways myself in my own journey of consulting. I continue to learn my lessons, learn them in hard way. So many players, okay, first of all, very few companies proactively come and say we want to improve. Honestly, it is me going and telling to the companies, making a sales pitch, making a presentation and telling, look, you should improve. There's a breakthrough improvement being offered by this philosophy. So you can be much better than what you are today, etc. It takes a lot of pain, strain to tell the companies you must try for achieving breakthrough improvements. But I haven't seen much of this push sale converting into case studies or success stories. I haven't seen much, to be honest with you, candidly. The companies who have embarked with a burning desire to achieve something, to prove something to oneself or to customers, have been more successful than otherwise. So that's the first question you see in this chart. So voice of customer, voice of business, is the improvement needed? Yes. Is it a new development? Yes and a no. So new development, yes. Then straightforward, use DMADV approach and not DMAIC approach. They're two different approaches. What is DMADV? It's given here. Define the product or the service. Measure what the customer needs are. Again, this is just a verbatim. There's a technique to do this also in Six Sigma. Everything is very, very well defined. Measure the customer needs. Analyze how to meet the needs. Design the product and processes. Validate conformance to needs. So these are the 5 steps. DMADV. When do you ask that question? At this juncture. Is it a new development? No. Is incremental development acceptable? Which means not breakthrough, but I improve little quarter by quarter, quarter by quarter, improve little quarter by quarter. Acceptable? If yes, then use DMAC. If no, then think of innovation, think of digital transformation or whatsoever. It goes back to, again, use a DMA DV approach because incremental development is not acceptable. Now the question is, you may ask me, Sreedher, why would incremental development is not accept? Why would that situation arise? Because every company might be looking at incremental development acceptable only. Not necessarily. It's a race against the time. In other words, if your products and services in the market are not competitive enough to make you survive 3 months from now, refrain from applying Lean Six Sigma philosophies there. It won't work. You have to think outside the box. Look at how you can turn the time in your favor, or at least to support you if not favor. So there is this little amount of business judgment required, little amount of business understanding required to stop, pause and think, would Lean Six Sigma be the most suitable thing to apply today in this place, in this context? Think, I'm saying it's not complex rocket science. Think, you will get good judgmental answers and which will be fair and square judgment at that point in time for that context which you were in the middle of. So use DMAIC approach where incremental development is acceptable. OK, so even when you start off on a DMAIC approach, you do define, measure, analyze all the 3 steps. You may come to improve step and then realize, oh, the process design that is required to produce this result does not exist. So like Dinesh was saying, for example, the infrastructure or the capability, the machine capability does not exist. Then there is no 2 ways about it. You have to upgrade the infrastructure. You have to upgrade the machine capability to be able to achieve it. I wish there was a negotiation on that. There isn't any. So therefore, you could jump to a DMA DV approach in the middle of a DMAC approach also. It's possible. Or from the word go, you might start with a DMA DV approach and not DMA IC approach. So typically DMA DV approach is more suitable for new product development, for new service design, new process design, and so on and so forth. Whereas a DMA IC approach is more suitable for something which is incremental development and it is acceptable by the stakeholders of the company. But in any scenario, in any context, there is no starting point if there is no business case to implement Lean Six Sigma in the company. Now, if some of you are working in the company and that company is not following any Lean Six Sigma, whatever it is, utilize this course to learn the concepts and make the most of it in terms of conceptual understanding and improvements in your own restricted work area. That is all you have to bother about. Do not worry about implementing this in the company on an organization wide basis if you are not accountable for that, if you're not entitled for that. OK, that is my recommendation. Any questions on this so far? Is it clear? DMAIC, DMADV, they're two broad available approaches to either design a new product or a service or a process to produce right first time, or to fix an existing process to produce right first time with lesser variation, lesser defects in the process as a whole. By the way, one more thing that you have to one more skill which is very much needed if you want to become Lean Six Sigma Black Belt is your ability to coach, to train, to teach others on these concepts. From today, I only am telling you from today, if you grab somebody, if you find somebody who's interested to learn about this topic, you have the material with you also. Don't miss a chance to run through with that person whatever little you have understood about the topic, because that is an expected attribute of a Lean Six Sigma Black Belt. Okay. These are the various benefits of applying Six Sigma. They impact the bottom line results. They do. They definitely do. Otherwise, I would not have been in business all this long. They are process focused. Six Sigma is process focused. It works on a project by project approach. It also emphasizes on improvements by design. Therefore, there is a classic design for Six Sigma approach available in the Six Sigma context. It emphasizes on problem solving specialization. By the way, good news for you is I was doing some research on what will be the most demanded skill. Again, different research papers may offer different purviews, but here is my take from what I researched. What will be the top most demanded skill in the job market or industry by 2030? The answer was complex problem solving. Answer was the top most demanded skill be complex problem solving. So if you do not have the ability to solve a problem scientifically in a structured way, a simple problem, then you are surely missing something today in the today's world. Now this question, this remark applies to all of us, all of us. I'm sparing nobody in this world, nobody in this professional world. Everybody, everyone has to have an ability and the skills to solve problems in a scientific way and structured way. Everybody has to have the idea of data. It was optional maybe 10 years back. It was highly optional when I started my career in Lean Six Sigma, by the way, in Six Sigma in 2000s. When I choose this subject of data based problem solving, it was optional. No more it is optional. I'm telling this after 20 years of stint in this place. It is mandatory for everybody in the company to understand and apply the concepts of data science and data-based decision making, because that is the future. What if you are doing any work or any job today that can be done, then it will be taken. Trust me. If you are doing any work or any job today, activities, tasks, repetitive, based on numbers, based on something that can be done, will be taken away by artificial intelligence, by machine learning, by whatsoever, or it's already being taken away. Industrial automation, robotics, etc. So what can machines not do? Machines cannot probably do much of conceptual original thinking, because the conceptual original thinking is fed by the problem solving thinkers as a program or as a code to these machines. So in this context, if you look at, maybe it's not unfair to say by 2030, probably we are glaring at a future where either everybody has to be knowing data science and Six Sigma, or I mean, it's a gloomy future for many. What's going to happen? Again, I don't want to sound like a doomsday here, but that thought occurred to me as I was at this point. Problem solving specialization. Six Sigma is for sure, in my personal opinion, going to secure all our future in more than one ways if we give it what it truly deserves. It is customer focused, therefore it will survive. If it is producer focused, no matter how great the philosophy is, the chances of its survival are thin, lean. Most importantly, it is data driven approach. In Six Sigma, they say, in God we trust, rest bring data. One question I have asked to many people, to some it may sound offending, to some it's acceptable. When an opinion is expressed in a boardroom meeting or elsewhere, and I ask this question in a polite way, what makes you think so? That question stumbles many. Then I say, okay, to help you, is there any data that you're basing your opinion on? Or is there a fact that you have witnessed you all by yourself and not handed fact to you? So the data driven approach is the backbone of Six Sigma philosophy. And one reason, if I cite why it has come so far, that I am talking about it, you are sitting on the other side from different parts of the city and country. Somebody's from Hyderabad, somebody's from Bangalore, somebody elsewhere from Chennai, and listening to this is because of these 6 to 7 reasons why it has managed to survive the test of time. Okay. Now one can do, I am curious, I go to Google and see Six Sigma trend, Lean Six Sigma trend. Some places it is flat and going down. Don't go by those trends, in my opinion. A lot of people, I mean, I saw them becoming green belts, I saw them becoming black belts, but then they did not make much of the black belt either. Then they when started going around BA training, business analyst training certification, then some of them jumped into data science and whatnot. That may not be useful. Go inch wide, mile deep. So give this subject what it deserves. It will more than give you in return. It will give you more than what you expect in return. So the key focus of Six Sigma has been to delight customers by giving them a defect-free product and services. Consistently is the word to underline. Emphasis is on reducing variations through various cross-functional projects. Emphasis is on reducing defects by virtue of process and product design, both. Just not fix the existing process, but also design a new product or a new process right first time. And believe me, the process design holds the key to success of the process when it is commercialized, when it is going live. And most importantly, emphasis is to link improvements with companies' bottom line savings. All these factors put together, they are aimed to delight the customers. The key focus is accuracy and precision. 5 steps to solve any problem. Goes through DMAX cycle. Simple, it includes simple and advanced statistical approach to solve problems. Emphasizes on specialist approach. In other words, it says not everybody can walk into and solve problems just like that. It insists, the philosophy insists that how do you qualify to solve the problem? I have been asked this question myself in America as a consult there. And first time I'd been there and I was asked to mentor and coach some people, some managers. In the room full of people, there were 3 or 4 people. The first question put to me was, how do you qualify to coach us on problem solving? It was a positive question, but I think we are so much used to listening or hearing such this is a negative tone. I said, well, I am a certified Six Sigma Black Belt from American Society for Quality. They said, oh wow, so you are our man. This was the answer. So look at the expectations that is built around this title. Look at the expectations. They didn't ask me, I still go to consult to US. They didn't ask me, am I from the domain? They didn't ask me, have I had any experience in a similar industry? Nothing. I'm not telling this is true of all the companies. 9 out of 10 companies or 8 out of 10 companies do ask me, have I worked in that domain? That's for sure. But this was the first question put to me. How do I qualify? The moment I said I'm a black belt, certified, and practicing Lean Six Sigma or Six Sigma Black Belt for the last 16 years, they like put all other questions to rest. The next topic they discussed was, do you have a background to our problem or shall we give you the background? That's the way it works. How does Six Sigma deploy in a company? It goes this way. Identify and prioritize projects aligned with company's annual goals and objectives. This is the first step. Do not set your hands to execute what is there in front of you. Of course, if it is your own KRA, KPI, then do it. But don't pick up something which is not your own KPI or KRA unless it is aligned with business goals and objectives. Then identify and assign sponsors, black belts, green belts, and other team members. Then execute Six Sigma projects, conduct periodic progress reviews, and align. In the broad level, at a broad level, these 3 stages help deployment of Six Sigma in a company. But I can only tell you this is it, but it is not as simple as it looks here. It roughly takes me 3 months to do this. It roughly takes me as a consultant 3 to 4 months to do this. Other 3 to 4 months, other a month to do that. And this could turn out to be in several months or even years. So all these 3 blocks put together could be a journey of a company into deploying Six Sigma spread across the years. Many companies who have implemented Six Sigma, I can say all the top Fortune 500 companies have tried their hands on Six Sigma for sure. These are a list of companies who applied Six Sigma, and even today Six Sigma Black Belt, Six Sigma Green Belt certificate and certification has a value in the market. No two ways about that. Certificate and certification will get you an entry to attend the interview. But what will get you in the company or even help you survive and sustain in the company is your own project, your own case study. So a certified Six Sigma Black Belt will get you to the door. Getting inside the door and surviving inside the door depends on what have you made of this philosophy for yourself. Quick summary of learning. Six Sigma aligns with voice of customer. It focuses on ensuring customer improvement initiatives linked to the bottom line. It focuses on reducing defects and variations in the process. It uses project management approach to solve problem using DMAIC. 5 steps, DMAIC. There are two broad approaches. One looks at fixing the problem for existing processes and products. One looks at designing a new product or a service from the word go, or new process from the word go. So that is a quick snapshot overview of Six Sigma for you. Any questions you have on Six Sigma overview and deployment? Feel free to ask them.
Sir, Abhijit here.
Yes, Ajit.
So, the question was around, so we discussed more of like Six Sigma, so which was like reducing variations, right? And why are we putting lean also as a part of this program?
Can you hold on to your question?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Any other questions? Okay. Let's move on. Just stay with your question.
Yes, Sreedher, 1 second.
Yes.
Suppose we are doing some projects. So we can do multiple projects at a time, or phase one by one we can do.
If
Because
you can, sorry, go ahead.
There are many variables which contribute to the end product. So addressing on multiple variables is better, or first focusing on one is better?
My practical 2 cents are this. Pick up and choose something which is easy to achieve according to you in your judgment. Avoid boiling the ocean or eating the elephant. So pick up something which could be an easy go to begin with, is not as complex as maybe other opportunities. Reason I say that is because the onus is to first learn the process of problem solving. So once you choose a very complex project, and I've seen in the entire 16-20 years of my work, you pick, if somebody picks complex projects, I put my barricade there and say, for goodness sake, do not take something which is complex, which involves various variables, which involves all the cross-functional team members to come and make contributions. I say let's be practical. Let's narrow down the scope to such an extent that there are not too many cross functions involved in getting to solution, because getting them, managing them, and coordinating with them is going to be an up the hill task, because you'll have to manage both your routine and project at the same time. If you're doing this only, that's a different story. Does it make sense?
Yeah. Fine.
Sure. Yeah. Anybody else? Any other questions? So while you are embarking on this journey, please get started on thinking what kind of projects you want to undertake. You might be having some knowledge of it. So start juggling in your mind what you're most likely to undertake as a project that you want to apply Lean Six Sigma on. OK. Now we finished all that we had at a high level to discuss about Six Sigma, what it is, what's the philosophy, what are the tenets of the philosophy, how it works. Let's get into a bit of lean right now. The key focus of lean. What is lean? Okay, there is some good stuff here, or maybe even more as we go. Fine. Let me give you a perspective first of lean. Okay. The first time I learned about lean, something came to my mind. Lean. You know what came to my mind? Laurel Hardy. Have you seen Laurel Hardy?
Yeah.
Anybody knows or seen Laurel Hardy?
Yes, yes.
So the moment I heard lean for the first time, what came to my mind was Laurel and Hardy. Honestly, this picture came to my mind. So in this Laurel and Hardy, there are two characters. One character is actually lean. Other character is fat. There's a lean guy, there's a fat guy. So the moment actually I understood something is going on the web, on lean, there's too much activities on the web inquiring about lean, doing lean. Laurel Hardy came to my mind and I related lean to Laurel. Who's the thin guy, Abhijit? Thin guy is Laurel, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So I could relate to Laurel. And now let's get to this Laurel thing. I'll come to the content on this slide later. Let's think about the Laurel thing. Okay. Just curious question. There's no right and wrong answer to this question. Tell me one aspect of being fit, physically fit. Tell me one most important aspect of being physically fit.
Being lean.
Being lean. Exactly. This is what came to my mind. Even that day, even today. So when we say being lean is that aspect, which means we are not overweight or we are not obese in that fashion. But then the question arises, what problem does overweight or being obese causes? The answer could be we will not be flexible enough. We will not be fit enough to probably sprint. Okay, let alone sprint. To walk 2 floors up and so on. To walk a distance, etc. So when we say fat, well, some amount of fat exists in the body and the physical, need. I mean, that's biology part which I'll not get into. But an excess fat causes problem. What problem does it cause? Blood pressure, diabetes, and many more associated problems. The first things first in the physical fitness arena that I've seen is if your height and your weight put together produces a BMI, body mass index, it has to be operating within a certain range. That to me explains most of what lean actually does many a times. So when we say lean, we mean lean like Laurel Hardy. I asked what is the most desirable aspect of being physically fit? If I remove physical and say fit, you said being lean. Similarly, the agile word that came into the picture today is a transformed word of lean thinking for non-manufacturing company. So can we be flexible and fit enough? Can we be flexible enough? Can we be fit enough to pick our body weight and run or walk or do any such activity at the time when it demands in our lifetime? For that, we have to be fit. To be fit is to be lean. Lean means fitness, organizational fitness. Fitness for what? In my perspective, fitness for what? Fitness to meet the constantly changing demands of the customer and the market. They are ever changing. What customer demands today is not there tomorrow. The demands of a customer only go up. It only upgrades. It doesn't come down. When customer says, give me at this price, understand and underline, the customer is not negotiating on the value of the product at all, but is negotiating on the price of the product. He's telling you're selling it to me at 100 rupees. I'm not willing to pay 100. I'll pay 80. If the shopkeeper says, sir, 80 rupees for I have one more product. You see, this I can give it to you at 70. Customer will say, no, not this. I want that at 80, which you're saying 100 rupees. So there is no negotiation on the value proposition of the product or the service, but there's a hard negotiation on the price of the product. Okay. So is there a way in which actually we can give the customers what they want, when they want, how much they want, in the way they want? And I add one more thing from my perspective, in the most cost competitive way that it works. Then we are looking at aiming at becoming lean unit, lean business unit. So what does lean look at? Like Six Sigma, lean looks at delighting the customers. The emphasis here is to achieve velocity by delivering value, identifying and eliminating wastes or non-value added time and efforts in the value stream. There are too many terms in this, technical terms, don't worry about them, I will come to it later. In simple terms, if I say, if I would like to highlight this would be my choice of sentence of what defines lean thinking. How do we achieve velocity with which we produce and deliver our products and services to the customer? Delivering value every time by vis-a-vis identifying and eliminating wastes or non-value added time and efforts in the value stream. What are these terms? Value, non-value added, value stream. Oh my God, this is too much. Let me give an example. I stay in one part of the city in Bangalore, which is South Bangalore. When I get up when I have a flight to catch early in the morning, the time it takes is much lesser than what it takes in afternoon or evening. Why is that? It's a no-brainer. Because no traffic, no signals, no potholes. Oh, sorry, potholes are still there. No traffic, no signals. No traffic. Sometimes 7 o'clock also signals are on. Well, most of it, let's say no signals. 4:30 if I'm leaving. Okay. So there is a reason why I reach airport taking much less time. The reason is I start from home and literally do not stop in my journey to the airport till I reach the airport. So it starts, I start and I stop. That's it. In between there is flow. In between there is incessant, continuous, consistent movement, flow. Does a transaction work like that? Not sure. Does a product flow like that? Do I flow like that if it was mid-noon or 5:30 p.m.? Nah. So what causes me to take lesser time? to reach to my destination early in the morning? Flow. Start and stop. That is what causes for me to reach my destination. On other times, same route, same destination, same house, same driver, same vehicle, it takes a longer time. Why? Because start, stop, start, stop, start, stop. Whenever I stop, that time for me is non-value added because I'm waiting for something. Waiting for what? Waiting for signal, waiting for the traffic to clear ahead of me, or waiting for some other thing that causes me to stop, that causes the work to stop. So the work can stop on more than one occasion. An activity or a work, deliverable, or a transaction, or a product, or whatsoever, or a order, e-commerce order, stops on more than one occasion. Okay. When there's a start, stop, start, stop, start, stop, start, stop kind of a story, it takes me much longer time to reach the other end or to produce a deliverable. So how can we overcome those many stoppages and wait stops and increase the velocity? Actually, you don't increase the velocity. You only remove barriers. The velocity might remain the same. Just that you identify and remove those barriers in the end-to-end, from an end-to-end perspective, that is causing the work or the product or the service to stop in between. Start, stop, start, stop, start, stop. You are identifying the barriers and stopping it, removing it. So when you remove them, then there is a flow. When there is a flow, then automatically the time that it takes to achieve a certain end result narrows down, shrinks, compressed, gets compressed. How does it do? How does Lean manage to achieve that? That is going to be all the learning that we will now get into as far as Lean overview is concerned. Okay. Why is it coming whereas Six Sigma is being looked at? See, Six Sigma brought into focus significantly variation reduction. Six Sigma brought into focus significantly defects reduction. Fair. But you can be highly consistent in also taking a longer time to achieve something. For example, you may be consistent in achieving something taking 32 days turnaround time, 30 days, 30 days, 30 days turnaround time repeatedly, consistently. So Six Sigma looks at how can you be consistent. At least if you are consistent in 30, 30, 30, 30, it is easy to go back and trace and find what to fix compared to one day if you take 30 days, other day you take 50 days, 100 days, 20 days. If it is so inconsistent, you cannot fix the problem as easily as it can be in if you are consistent situation. But then even if I say you have achieved the goal of Six Sigma or reduce the variation, you are consistently 30, Lean asks the question, is that 30 the best that can be? What percentage of the 30 is really adding value? How many days of the 30 is really adding value? From whose perspective? From customer's perspective. So being consistent and being less of defects or free of defects is just not the desire to have or cherish. Can we be consistent, have less defects, less variation, and can we achieve that in the shortest possible time became the pursuit. So therefore, over years, what was just Six Sigma, Lean was added in the beginning, saying that, look, let's see it this way. Let's first identify what is value added, what is not value added. After we identify what's value added, what's not value added, let's try to get rid of what is not value added first, as much as possible, if not all of it. After we get rid of what is not value added, then let's sit down and now come up with a plan to be consistent in the value added time and effort that we put. So therefore, in the years that evolved after Six Sigma, there was something which was missing from my perspective, from a philosophical perspective, that was added later by looking at it's not just important that you have to be accurate and precise or consistent. It also matters what time you take to achieve that consistency. That matters. So therefore, the whole concept transformed into Lean Six Sigma. So there's hardly a choice left. There's no choice between speed and accuracy. So the choice or the business market today is you want to be both fast and accurate. The moment you say fast and accurate, how can you be fast? Lean. How can you be better? Accurate? Six Sigma. So Lean Six Sigma this way started complementing each other. Each other fulfills the other's gaps, the other's opportunity. Now this is not coming from a textbook. This is something which I have been experiencing and witnessing myself. So what are the key focus areas of Lean? It looks at speed or velocity, thrives on five key principles, works through Kaizen, change for better, plan to check at kind of an approach. It is simple and easy to apply compared to Six Sigma because Six Sigma is demands and desires you should be good at statistical analysis. It's the amount of statistics in Lean is literally none, very little, not as much as it is in Six Sigma world. Unlike the Six Sigma world, it emphasizes on TEI, which is total employee involvement. It says you have to have everybody participating in the journey no matter what. Whereas in Six Sigma world, it says black belts, green belts, master black belts. The question is not which is better. The question is not which is better. Question is what proportions of these do you need to combine to make a deployment successful? Understand, the objective is not to implement Lean Six Sigma. The objective is to implement a continuous improvement culture and a CI culture. Lean and Six Sigma or TOC, theory of constraints, or TPM or this or that or this or that are only the means to achieve a CI culture. That is the way it works. Okay, and Lean is based on JIT principles, just in time flow principles from Toyota and Ford manufacturing. Okay, so looks like we are just 2 minutes away from our session. I will cover 1 or 2 slides, then we are done for the day. So in lean world, the core idea is to maximize something. In the world of lean, the core idea is to maximize customer value while minimizing waste. What is waste? What is non-value added time and effort? We will get into much depth later. At a philosophical level, you need to understand these two topics first. At a philosophical level. So the core idea is to maximize customer value while minimizing waste. Okay. How can you achieve the same output using fewer resources? That is the key. Can you achieve the same output by using fewer resources? Lean. A lean organization. Same output with half the people. You might say, Sreedher, in that case, this will do more damage than good. What damage? It will make people jobless. I would say, well, in principle, if something was a work worth one person only, and you deployed 2 people there, whose mistake it is? In scientific sense, from a scientific principle perspective, if it was worth one person only, you deployed 3 people to do that particular job, then you already put 2 people's future and career at stake. Because one fine day, it will happen. It is inevitable. So these 2 people who have been working for years, they will find themselves in jeopardy one day or the other. Better now than later. With that, I stop at my session today. We will continue from this part onwards in our next session. Any questions so far? Good. So, any feedback, any questions? Am I going too slow? I'm ensuring enough time is spent on this section, because if you do not understand the philosophy, deployment is a far cry. Okay. By the way, my request to you all is, you have the material for section 1 right now. You please go through the material, and next session when we catch up again, I'm looking forward to complete significant portions of this section itself. So I will be aiming at completing 90% of this section in our next session. Till then, you have a great rest of the day, great week ahead. Thank you, and I hope I still spared you some time to spend with your family. Have a great evening ahead.
Thank you, Sreedhar sir.
Thanks.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye. Bye. All.